And good afternoon, everybody. It's Sunday, 1:49 p.m. on 4th of January here in the Commonwealth. And we're going to have a warm-up this week. Pretty amazing. There's Brother Jack Dawson. How you doing, Jack? Good to see you, man. Good to see you. Good to see you. So, there's a lot going on with Action PC Baseball, and I thought it'd be just fun. I know maybe there's going to be a good amount of people that already know what's kind of available out there for free, but maybe for some people, they don't know. So we're going to go over some of the really cool things that you have available to you for free for the game. So I'll be showing both some things here, or just reviewing some things on the APC community site, and then showing you some of the stuff that I have installed as well. So these are all free and really, really well done stuff. So if you're, whether you're looking for logos, you're looking for some uh, player photos, whatever, just all kinds of stuff. And this isn't, and just one stop shop place. There's a Facebook group for Action PC Baseball where you can get uh, tons of ballparks. Mark Shaw usually posts a ballpark picture every day. So of course these are very easy to use in Action PC Baseball. Yeah, so good stuff. So, with everybody using Action PC Baseball, either now as a manual entry tool or a board game assistant, or you're playing Action PC and using the legacy mode, or doing I don't know, maybe just a what if league or what have you. There's really, really, there's so much you can do with the game, but it's always nice to get a free beer here and there, right? They say there's no such thing as a free beer, but there is. There certainly is. All right, so let's hop in. Let's go to baseball. Let's go to seasons first. All right, so you can see here there's really, really, really a lot going on here. So I know some people might play some minor league baseball or whatever, but a lot of this is there's some other leagues as well as some major league. I play mainly major league. So all of these are all downloadable. So for instance, so Zep317, he's created some really, really cool sets. Looks like the last update for some of these have been like 2020 to 2024. So all good stuff. So the 1901 to 1919, 3 years franchise. For those of you that want to go way, way, way back and play like the Pacific Coast League 1903. But Zep then, back with the 1920 to 1942, 3 year franchises. There's Pacific Coast League 1926 Negro Leagues. You got Cuban Winter League here. You got more Pacific Coast League, more major league stuff. There's 1947 Japanese baseball, 1952. 60 to 79, 3 years franchise files. Um, so good stuff. And then there's a larger one for those of you that like a little bit more modern baseball. There's a 1961 to 2023 yeah, 3 year franchise. I'll learn to talk. A couple more, a little bit more granular, 1980 to 1999. So all of these things here, what a great community this is. There's one here for just 2000 to 2019 if you want to do that. Um, but there's also some minor leagues here. There's Double A Eastern League from 2012. There's the Carolina League. Um, More Japanese baseball. There's a lot of Japanese baseball here. There's some Texas League, International League. There's the Florida State League. All over the place here. You can see just a lot of stuff to download for your game. So if you're like me and you just play Major League Baseball, there's still plenty to pick from here. But this is really nice. And then of course, down at the bottom, the two files that we talk about so very, very much are Steve Tate's 5 year franchises National League and 5 year franchises American League. And Steve worked really hard on these, just as Zepp did on his. So if you're an Action PC baseball player and you don't want to sink a ton of money into it, that's understandable. Or maybe you're doing as I did and you're just kind of buying decades here, seasons there when you can, and whatever. And while you're sort of building up your Major League Baseball collection and Negro Leagues, which, by the way, there are two more Negro League seasons coming out toward the end of this month, I think it is. So you'll definitely want to check that out as they're filling that in. There's really, really lots of stuff here to go, and that's just seasons. That's just seasons. Okay. So if we go back to baseball and we go to images, let's go to images. So some people don't want all the player photos because again, they first, if they've chosen not to buy all the seasons. Well, there's a pile of photos in here. So if your cousin Ken Castro, if he played this game, he doesn't, but player photos just from the 1880s you can download. There's 1938 Negro League teams, logos, player photos, uniforms, and non-Negro League retro ballparks. You're doing some replays in the 1950s. There are player photos just devoted just to that year that you can download. Um, Going into the 60s, um, there's also, if you're doing like a World Series replay, 1964 World Series replay materials. There's more player photos in here. Manager photos, if you want to use those, there's more replays for specific World Series that are really, really good. We're doing 1971 right now, and if I wanted to, I could just download these and just it will create a subfolder, and you can just have the game look just in that subfolder, and just have the players from 1971 in their proper uniforms, their proper caps, all that livery. And then moving on forward, again, uh, Cubbies players, maybe you want to replay the 2016 season. Well, there you go. You've got the photos for that year. So there's tons and tons and tons of stuff here to go. We were talking about ballparks. Well, here's Lance Powers ballpark images. So, and again, you just straight up download these and put these in your parks folders. There's logos in here. There's player projection photos, hat and uniform combinations from 1900 to 2020 that you can download. Major League Baseball team logos from 1890 to 2023. There's more. There's just so much. And then Mark Shaw, in addition to his the photos that he posts up on Facebook. Here's his mark. You can also download them here, which is real nice. So lots of cool stuff here. There's Negro League's all-time top 20 team logos, their uniforms, Negro League player photos are available here. Zeke's logo collection, which I really, really love, is a great one. So is team cap logos. And hey, there is Paul, and he says, can't hear you as you're watching TV with the family, but we'll get the whole show later. Yeah, thanks, Paul. This is just letting people know there's some really, really cool stuff out there. So enjoy the telly. Enjoy the telly. And I'll even type in here since you can't hear me. No worries. No worries. Yeah, enjoy the telly. There we go. All right. Bart, how you doing? And Cousin Castro, how you doing? Cousin Ken Castro, heart and soul of this channel. Hope everybody's doing well today. Really wasn't a lot of comments to comment on today. There's just one person thanking me for doing 1971 because he says, not a criticism, I just can't get into the dead ball era. So, yeah, you're welcome, dude. Try to mix things up a little bit. In fact, all the baseball that we did last night here, we did doubleheader, one in Action PC baseball and one in Diamond Mine baseball. Were both modern baseball, so or what most people would call modern baseball. So anyhow, there's team cap logos, all kinds of things. This is such a great, great community. It really, really is. So Ken, I hope you're doing well today. I hope everybody's doing well today. I really, really, really do. You can put sounds. So there's a couple baseball sounds pack. I don't do these, but you can. So this is a great, great resource. Another great resource to go to is the Action PC Baseball forums, and I'm going to show you some of the stuff that I have. And I got to go to the service page, and so I'm getting this error that occurs every year. So this guy here, Cheech411, he's been doing player photos forever, never, never. So this newest it's 43,801 player photos. This is great for legacy play. So there you go. And you click here, and you can see. I mean, he does great, great work here. removes the backgrounds and stuff like that. You can just download it on the very first page. He does a great job of keeping these all updated. So excellent if you want player photos. And the good news is too is um, these same photos can be used in out of the park baseball. Speaking of dead ball, you got a side project, 1911 World Series with Appa Master, series tied at one game each. Yeah, and I remember I still have that 1911 project going on in Baseball for Windows. Yeah, so series tied 1-1. Awesome. So, yeah, don't worry. Dead ball's not going to go away from here. It definitely is, and I do appreciate that. When people say they can't get into dead ball baseball, and as I learned last week or whatever, I'm not really into exploring expansion teams until they become with players that I know and stuff like that. So I get that. That's right. Dead ball is not dead. Hey up, man. It's my favorite era, and also, of course, 19th century as well. So Ken's using his own lineups in his Appa Master replay of the 1911 World Series. That's really cool, cuz. So keep us abreast of what's going on. 1911 series, of course. I'm guessing you're managing your yeah, for Philadelphia, going for Philadelphia there. I hope so. Philadelphia Athletics, of course. That's the $100,000 infield. That the Athletics are just great. The Cubs are powerful, of course, too. In the 1910s, you got the Giants, the Red Sox, which Ken and I are replaying the 1912 World Series on Apago. So no dead ball. I mean, the thing I think one of the things that maybe, and then we'll get back on track here, that kind of disorients people about dead ball baseball is not knowing the names, except I mean the usual suspects. Yeah, I think even the average baseball fan will have heard of Ty Cobb and Hannes Wagner, possibly Chris. Yeah, maybe even Christy Mathewson, Walter Johnson, those guys. But I don't know that the average baseball fan might have heard of Addie Joss, for instance, or Rube Oldring, or Stuffy McInnes, Sherry McGee, Gavi Kravitz. But I also think the other thing is the game. Even though if you brought if you took a modern player back to the dead ball era, he'd be like, "Yeah, this is baseball." And if you brought a dead ball player forward to now, he would say, "Yeah, there's some changes, but I still recognize the game." But it is tactically, strategically, dead ball baseball is a faster game. Um, and you can ask Bernie Strom his sort of, I guess, baptism by fire into dead ball, and he loves it. He says he's such a huge fan of it now. um, but again, when he first started out, he was playing sort of modern strategies, and your cleanup hitter was your power hitter, and get men on and move them over with the big home run, and that's never going to work in dead ball baseball. And again, as I have many times, now it's 3 years ago. Holy hell! So 3 years ago, when we did the first McGreevy League, Ken Castro really gave a master class on how to manage in the 19th century and dead ball eras. And it is about risk. You've got to take risks, and that means even doing crazy things like double steals with 2 outs, attempting double steals, things like that. You got to forget the notion that your number 4 hitter is your home run guy, right, or your number 3 hitter. You've got to be able to sack bunt, early in the order and stuff like that. Steal bases, hit and run and hit. You got to scratch out those runs. That's the way they played it. Average dead ball game ran about an hour and a half. Now, granted, there were no commercials back then, no radio, anything like that. But still, it was a faster game. And again, if you want to learn more about it without getting into real deep reading, I mean, certainly the best book I think on the era is The Glory of Their Times by Lawrence Ritter. But excellent book that I highly recommend is Tales from the Dugout, or Tales from the Dead Ball Era. If you really, really need a primer, and just to get a good sense of what that era was like. You may gain an appreciation for it and find, okay, this is kind of fun. Let me learn. Um, again, some people may say back to me that, well, you could do the same with expansion teams, but it's interesting to study how baseball makes these big geographic changes. But when I was looking at that game last week that Tim had suggested we do in Baseball Max between the 69 Expos and the 77 Mariners, I felt like somebody who was trying to deal with dead ball baseball and not knowing the players. So I do get that. Um, but I think that being said, I think for if you go into dead ball baseball and you start looking at those games, poke around in Baseball Reference, Baseball Almanac, whatever you use, Retro Sheet, whatever. I think you'd be surprised that you're going to recognize probably more names from 1915 than you might from a 1977 expansion team, unless you live in Seattle or you're in Montreal or whatever. I can't really tell you how many people are on the 19, how many people I've known in the 1969 Padres, but it is about what you like, and so I am trying to offer that sort of variety in the channel, which is why while dead ball and 19th century baseball will remain the heart of this channel, um, you know, people you'll notice I have been doing a lot more modern baseball. So you had to manufacture runs, says Umpman, a lot more than today's game. You absolutely did. And it was never a given that the pitcher was just an automatic strikeout, and you had really good hitting pitchers in the dead ball era. Smokey Joe Wood, Walter Johnson are two that come immediately to mind. Christy Mathewson was a pretty good hitter too, and a supremely talented athlete, of course, too. Ken Castro says there's something special about playing dead ball on the tabletop. Can't put my finger on it. It works. The individual stories of dead ball players are genuinely rich, and that's another thing about it too. And we'll get back to that in a few minutes. Just about, and maybe while we've got Ken here, um, we can, if he would mind just sort of putting in there, that'd be great. Oh, this is nice. I see this. So yeah, the schedule generator is it's yeah the schedule generator is just a problem. They were supposed to have fixed that this year, but it's still not. I because I tried creating a schedule for something I'm going to show you from one of our own family members, a Blue Rose case, who hasn't been in here in way too long. So I'm going to show you a dead ball franchise league that I have in the background here in Action PC Baseball. So I might have to hand create a schedule or something like that. But there's still some issues that have to be worked on in Action PC Baseball. For as much as we're gushing about it and it's awesome, um, he's also mentioned here, yeah, the draft thing is really, it can be really hit or miss. Sometimes you're going to be fine creating a draft league, like a random draft league. Sometimes it's not going to work. The schedule generator, I just really wish Clay would just, or not Clay, Dave and company would look at just the way Baseball for Windows does it. They give you a step-by-step run through, suggestions for any kind of schedule that you can imagine. Out of the Park has a great schedule generator as well. But the schedule generator, as this person has said here, he says schedule generator has always been a problem forever. I'm tired of this sort of thing, but hey, I don't have to worry about a schedule when the draft portion doesn't work well enough to form a league. Just had many days and hours wiped out because of its nonsense. So the schedule generator is still not there yet, unfortunately. But in most cases, it's really, it's just doing a little bit of manual input and stuff like that, and you are good to go. All right, so that's what I wanted to show you in APC community and the Action PC baseball forums. And another time we're going to go over some of the freebies that you can find in Diamond Mine Baseball. Maybe we'll do that next time. There's also for digital Diamond Baseball. No, you're never hijacking, man. I want that input because you know that. You know that. That's what the family is about. So please, nobody's hijacking anything. All right, now here we go. This is something that's going to be of more limited interest to people, but I think it serves as a nice segue or kind of a double prong here as we talk about the dead ball era, certainly. And there's some 19th century players in here as well. Um, so this is by Blue Rose Case, Mike Koss, right? And Mike has another thing on there, his own all-time franchise greats, which I have not installed yet. He also they're all-time great single seasons type thing. Now there are doppelgangers in this league, but I'm learning to kind of embrace it. It's like, okay, Eddie Collins in the White Sox is not the same as Eddie Collins in the Philadelphia Athletics. But that said, he did a lot of research here. Um, and it's really good to go here. I mean, we were talking about the Chicago Cubs, so let's look at the Chicago Cubs. So, we got the logos, we got the uniforms, we got the ballpark. I don't worry about photos of managers. I mean, some people do. I don't. But this is a great way because I mean, baseball stats are baseball stats. That's just what they are. Now, this isn't necessarily the 1914 Cubs. It's just that whatever this is going to be normalized to. But if you start looking at these things, just wait, Frank Chance, where have I heard that name? Tinker to Evers to Chance, and they happen to be all on here. But baseball stats are baseball stats, and if I look at somebody like Cap Anson here, for instance, we're not going to open up his whole card, but here was a 371 hitter, had 10 home runs, 147 runs batted in. Well, that means the same thing now. Um, it, a home run's a home run, an RBI is an RBI, right? You hit the ball, somebody scores because you've hit the ball or whatever. You get credit with an RBI. It's the same thing. It's just the strategy and kind of knowing the names. So again, I think the casual fan's not going to know who Harry Steinfeld was, but he was the hot corner component of the Tinker to Evers to Chance double play combination. Um, so you can see these are big files. But then as you get more into it, you start learning about these guys that aren't in the Hall of Fame that were excellent players, like Jimmy Sheckard. In fact, I have him. I think on my Michael McGreevy league, I'll take Jimmy Sheckard in left field anytime, and not bad here. He's a 276 average, Jimmy Sheckard, 32 steals. Look at this. He's rated in left field as a 10, right field as an 8. So um, I think that's a great way to learn. I started learning about dead ball baseball when I was like 8 or 9 years old and fell in love with it, and I have been ever since. And I'm 102, so I'm just a year younger than Clinton Parks. So we can look at a couple other teams, and again, you're going to see some doppelgangers. Let's take a look at the Philadelphia Athletics. All right. And again, we're not even looking at pitchers, but we can. So look at that. There we got Rube Waddell, Jack Combs, Eddie Plank. So Rube Waddell, Eddie Plank, Hall of Famers. Chief Bender, Hall of Famer. Um, but you can look at some of these other guys. So here's this Scott Perry, right? 20 wins, 19 losses, a 1.98 earned run average. So I mean, it just makes sense. Um, but I think that people have gotten so used to, and this is not a criticism, but I think people have gotten so used to the big home runs. But what's happening a lot is you know striking out or hitting home runs. But the kind of a lot of the other fundamentals of the game are going by the wayside, and some of the things like complete games are just gone, I guess you might say. But again, I want to thank Blue Rose Case. You guys can get this in the Discord. If you're a member of the Ned McGreevy Discord, you can go and download this. Mike put this up here, um, created the thing, and really, really awesome. And once I can work out a schedule for this is certainly something I'm going to have fun with. Um, so, just for anybody that might be interested, this thing's free. What do you got to lose? It doesn't even take up that much room in your hard drive, right? Let's look at a few more rosters. It's always fun to just look at rosters. Let's look at the Phillies because Ken's here. So again, we got Ed Delahanty, we got Billy Hamilton, and we've seen Billy Hamilton is on another team, so we do have some doppelgangers, but that's fine. So again, who are the, maybe some people might have heard of Ed Delahanty, Billy Hamilton, Sam Thompson, Nap Lajway, Elmer Flick, probably the most forgotten Hall of Famer, which is a shame, certainly. Here's a guy with 333 in this file. So it wasn't like somebody like Mike just plugged these in. He did really, really, really deep research. Michael Peterson, welcome in. He says, "You're right, Beatles. You learn about older baseball." And I would say this, and I need to learn about newer baseball. So maybe we work out something where everybody's, getting that sort of thing. I mean, I felt kind of badly last week, and Tim said, I'm like, okay, yeah, let's name two teams. And he said, well, how about two expansion teams, 69 Montreal and 77 Seattle? And I knew between the two teams a total of three players. I'm like, holy moly, that's pretty bad. So yeah, even if you don't want to go back to the dead ball era, I think another decade that's really fascinating that somehow doesn't seem to catch on in the community is the 1920s, right? That decade. This is a period of transition. So the live ball's introduced in 1920, but that doesn't mean that the dead ball tactics just went away. And that was like the right. We say the dead ball era ended in 1919, and it did, but only because of the ball. But you still would find through the 20s, at least the early 20s, um, that and they were still scratching out runs. It didn't matter. I mean, how did the Yankees? What happened to the Yankees in 1926 World Series? Babe Ruth tried to steal second and was caught stealing, and gave the Cardinals their first World Championship. So the 1920s are just so much fun because you do get that transition, and we got to fix the Billy Hamilton picture. Oh my God, we always got to fix the Billy Hamilton picture. Not going to play anything right now. And Roy Thomas, for some reason, the game loves to default to these two guys. So I know Hall of Fame players by watching Ken Burns. Yeah, these are free. This is free on the Ned McGreevy Discord. Um, I have to see which channel Mike put them in. So forgive me while I jump in there really quickly. And let's see where they are. Okay. These are free. Plus, there are 3 free baseball games in there as well. So let me see. Where is this? Is it Action PC Baseball? Yes. So if you go into the Ned McGreevy League and you go into the area for Action PC Baseball, you'll be able to see these things. So there's the league file itself, player photos, uniforms, and logos. And of course, you can change up anything that you want. And then he says, hey, everyone, finally updated the original franchise greatest single season files to version 1.1, uploaded the league with some 2025 players that made the cut, cleaned up some data as well, and updated some player images. He says he's now using the cardboard effect logo set that he posted some time ago. So Mike is amazing. He's just amazing what he puts up here. They look better in Action PC than the embroidered set. So his a lot of people are using the embroider set, which he's done for Out of the Park Baseball. He says, I'll link to a media file folder where you can find the zips for the league, logos, uniforms, manager photos. He says, talk about copyright or whatever. I'm not sure. Also, just a little tip, and we'll give this a shot some night here uh, with Action PC Baseball that you guys might like. And this is going to be for um, maybe again of limited interest depending upon the number of seasons or whatever. But he says, last post today, I promise. And I don't know, man, you can post as much as you want. So this was back on the 23rd. So I gotta let me reply here and just give him some love, man. There we go. Um, he says, but in the things I discovered, for any season you own, you can utilize the encyclopedia function to import all of a player's real stats. And a nice feature is you can display their whole career or just up until the season the player's in. So, and he says, referring to me, says, since you own one of the seasons like I do, you can actually import a complete history into an encyclopedia. This is a really nice feature. and he says it saves him some time going back and forth from the game to Baseball Reference. So I didn't know that that was something that you can do in Action PC Baseball. So when out of the park baseball, let's say you're replaying 1965. So when you set that up and when you go into the league history, it will only give you baseball history up until right the 1964 season because 65 hasn't happened. Well, you can apparently do that with seasons replay. So you couldn't do it with something like this. But the encyclopedia itself, Steve Tate has he's done a lot of work on the encyclopedia on his channel. So Simtistics with Steve Tate is one that you want to definitely check out. Let's look at this pitching staff here for the Phillies. Kid Gleason, Grover Cleveland, Alexander. On here. Charlie Buffington is on here. Good stuff. I have to look at the Pirates, of course. Have to look at the Buccos. So, yeah, again, we got Vic Willis. Jesse Tannehill, we're going to see him with the Cardinals as well. Did I see Vic Willis? Yeah, Wilbur Cooper, Sam Lever, Deacon Philippe. Babe Adams, who is the best pitcher. Well, now that we've got Paul Skeens, but Babe Adams is really was the best pitcher. Still holds a lot of records for the Pittsburgh Pirates. The hitters, the usual suspects, are in here. There's Hannes Wagner. There's Fred Clark, Kitty Bransfield, and Tommy Leach. So Tommy Leach, one of these players, not in the Hall of Fame, but a superb baseball player. Moon Gibson, real solid catcher here. Um, 265 average. So this is before of course, the prototypical catcher that we know of today. That I would say really was kind of Josh Gibson, Roy Campanella, ultimately, which gave us Johnny Bench, Mike Piazza, and so on. So there's Max Carey, one of the greatest center fielders of all time. Casey Stengel. Everybody's heard of Casey Stengel. So good stuff. Let's look at a few more. Let's look at the Cardinals. So there's Jesse Burkett. And again, once you play leagues and you have Jesse Burkett in your league, and no matter if it's an all-time great league or whatever, you're gonna be like, man, I wish I had, because this guy, Jesse Burkett, will rip it up if you play him in the modern era as well, and even in in Action PC and out of the park baseball where you can normalize 2 years, Jesse Burkett is a beast no matter what era you play him in, or whatever. He's fantastic. um, you know, and certainly the numbers bear that out. I mean, 27 steals, a 376 average for Jesse Burkett, and 10 home runs. Yeah, great names. How about it for these Cardinals, as can be expected? Man says a lot of these players, I give them the tech improvements, equipment knowledge, and all. Yep. So that, man, thank you for that. So that's one of my arguments, because there is a very well respected YouTuber here that and has said does not like dead ball baseball and discounts it. He just doesn't feel, and a lot of people argue as well. The competition wasn't that great. I don't know. I'm looking at these again. Talent is talent. We talked about that a couple weeks ago. And yeah, you're right. You give them that, put them in today's game. Yeah, they would. I believe they would, man, that they would, as you say, clean the youngsters' clocks out. Um, you know, again, the obvious example, Babe Ruth. Babe Ruth would have made the Hall of Fame as a pitcher, but he just happened to be able to swat the ball, and the Red Sox took advantage of that and then sold him. But yeah, so they didn't understand those training methods back in the day. They had no idea. They knew nothing about nutrition, about kinesiology, anything. And imagine if they did. And you had the raw talent of somebody like Jake Beckley or Bobby Wallace, Rogers Hornsby, of course, one of the, he's one of the pantheon, if you will. Yeah, so Crab Burkett led your bats league in batting average for a while. He's a tough out. He is. We saw that happen in the first McGreevy League. Um, and I forget who has him now in the Michael McGreevy League that should be starting in a couple weeks now that my mom's doing better and everything. And so the big announcement is this is it, man, kicking the SIGs. So I hope you guys will give me. I am really going to need some good encouragement. As I'm going to try to make a quick day tomorrow. So make the quick day tomorrow. I'm all loaded up here with nicotine gum and all that good stuff. So time to kick the lawn darts, as Mike Silva calls them, and he's absolutely right. Waste of money and waste of life. Anyhow, back to this. Lave Cross, another good player. Again, you got 317 batting average here. That is pretty good stuff. Besides Ace Men Out, any more info on Deadball era? Do you mean in terms of books, Michael? Or because I mean movies, that's pretty much it. But Crazy '08 is an excellent it's an excellent book about the 1908 season, which also provides a lot of what was going on in the United States and in the world, really, in 1908. Fantastic. Caitlin Murphy, I believe, is the author of that. That's a great book. The book, and I mentioned it before, is Glory of Their Times by Lawrence Ritter. That's a must read for baseball fans. You can get it as an audiobook if you want, certainly. And in fact, Anthony, and it's also available as a paperback. You can get it on the cheap anywhere. Get it on eBay for a few bucks. These books are great. The Glory of Their Times. Ken, I'm sure you can put in about Glory of Their Times. It is, I would say, of all the excellent books out there, and especially about this era, The Glory of Their Times is excellent, because what Lawrence Ritter did was he was interviewing people. Yep, you can get Glory of the Times audio. And I'm going to tell you about somebody here on YouTube that actually did something really cool with the audiobook. So what Lawrence Ritter did is he actually interviewed these players. So this is primary source material. So in the book, you're going to have interviews with with Tommy Leach, with Sam Crawford, just a ton of players, and they're talking about other players and what baseball was like and the tactics. And it's a great read. So what Anthony did, Bleacher Bums Gaming, the creator of Glory Days Boxing, he's a huge dead ball baseball fan. You're very welcome, Michael. Anthony's a huge dead ball baseball fan, and so what he did is he would do this thing like where you would listen to the interview that Lawrence Ritter did with the player, and then he would sort of fact check the player against the stats, and it was really really fascinating. So subscribe to his channel, and I believe it's called Dead Ball Diaries, is what Anthony called it. Just absolutely superb, and you're gonna find some great stories, and just fantastic players that really, uh, you know, we wouldn't have our modern game without what they did. St. Louis Cardinals here, some decent pitching. So again, you're going to see Cy Young with Cleveland. So the thing about this free file is, don't be afraid. Doppelgangers. I used to hate them, but now I'm like, all right, you know what? It's kind of cool, because you're going to get to see a player at one part of his career and another. We're probably going to see Kyler, or not yeah, Kyler. You're going to see Kyler both with the Pirates and the Cubs. Although Kyler, I think, more playing time later with the Cubs, whatever. So a 585 innings pitch, a whip of 876. Wow. So let me see who we're looking at here. Oh yeah, for Silver King. Yeah, crazy, right? Just crazy. Um, yeah. So it's really, really fascinating, and it's not like the rules change. So I mean, 18, yeah, Silver King. So I mean, 1893 is the beginning of modern baseball, like it or not. That is the beginning of modern baseball. So anything before that, you do have to bear in mind that, okay, if it's before that, there were different rule changes. There were rules about stolen bases, what constituted a stolen base, what constituted a walk, things like that. So you do have to make that. Plus, in the 1870s, pitchers were still pitching underhanded, and in the very early game during the National Association and the early formative days of baseball, the batsman could call for a higher low pitch and he could be there all day, and prior to 1893, you could foul off pitches all day, on a bunt, right? So we know that, count, you have two strikes on you and you try to bunt and you foul, you're out. Well, Wee Willie Keeler, he could bunt foul all day, all day, all day. And many baseball historians have said really that it was Keeler and his prowess at bunting that actually created the foul strike rule. So weren't they allowed to throw the ball at the runners? So, oh, thank you, Michael. Thanks for coming in, and yeah, check out the broadcast later, man. It's all good. Thanks for coming in, buddy. So they were originally up, man. So at the time that the game was forming, so we need to go back to the 1840s, 1850s, actually even before that, right? You go back into the early 19th century. So you had two games that were developing kind of independent one another. You had what was called the Massachusetts game and you had the New York game, right? And then you had town ball, right? So the Massachusetts game was more like town ball, and that was played on a square, more than 9 players per side, whatever, and you could what was called soak the runner. So you actually could throw at the runner to throw him out. The New York game got rid of that, but the New York game ends up, you know, gaining ascendance and popularity, which then would lead into the codification of some of the rules of baseball by Alexander Cartwright. But another great book is Baseball in the Garden of Eden, which is not about the dead ball era, but it's about who invented baseball. And no spoilers. I really think it's not Abner Doubleday. I'll tell you that. And it's not even Alexander Joy Cartwright. And Cartwright is actually in the Baseball Hall of Fame, and for good reason. He did lay down these rules, but baseball historian John Thorne, who's the official baseball historian, makes a very, very strong case for a bunch of other names too. Baseball in the Garden of Eden, great, great stuff. But yeah, so they could do that. So town ball was kind of like this weird thing where it was there was a definite cricket influence, certainly, but runners didn't have. There wasn't like you were running to first, second, third, home in town ball. Runners would collide into one another, going the opposite way, and what have you. It was a very, very different game. Other thing, of course, in the 19th century in the dead ball area, you're going to see higher errors, not only because of the smaller gloves in the 19th century. They weren't wearing gloves, until later in the 19th century, but also very bad field conditions. I mean, and that's another thing. So that where these men played, and on these very poor fields, they didn't have drainage systems or anything like that, or well manicured fields. For everything the movie Eight Men Out gets wrong, one thing that it does get right is the condition of the playing fields, and dusty and scrubby looking outfields and stuff like that. And you even see that in through the 50s and 60s. Look at Forbes Field for the World Series in 1960, and then compare that to Wrigley Field in 2016 and the World Series. Definite difference. Those guys are also right. The Cubs were playing in an old ballpark, the second oldest ballpark in the major leagues. Yet Wrigley wasn't looking like that on the field when it was built for the Federal League Chicago Whales. So yeah, man, totally on board with you on that. Let's look at a couple other rosters here, and I'll show you a couple other freebies that you can grab here and there and yonder. The New York Giants, of course, a very powerful early team. The Pirates, Cubs, and Giants, the first dynasties of the National League in the 19th century, and arguably in baseball. So you have the guy here, Roger Connor, only showing one home run here, but that's because you're going to see Roger Connor in other. So what Mike did here with these is he took their best seasons, right? So with that specific team, and so if he was on another team and had a significant amount of playing time, that's why we do see some doppelgangers here. Look, there's Benny Koff. right? So Benny Koff, 307 average here for Benny Koff. Benny Koff was fast. Not a strong outfielder, but Koff, you want to manufacture runs. Here's the guy. Larry Doyle, seriously good player. Um, Ross Young's a Hall of Famer, one that not too many people talk about, but not too shabby numbers here for Ross Young's either. A 9 rated right fielder. And remember, Action PC Baseball, these ratings are created from a formula from these stats, and the ratings are kind of for our quick reference. So it's not like these were just, when Mike created these files, or when Dave Cook and company, right, when they created these files, just like, well, we think George Davis is a pretty good shortstop, so we'll give him an 8. This has to do with all of this in here. Looking at anybody's cards here, of course, you get a lot more. Let's bring up Ross Young. So, there you go. There's all his fielding, the fielding for this and everything. And all of this is right. These ratings come out of this. So thank you, cuz. I'm trying. I try. I don't have quite the knowledge you do. But got to do my best. Giants here. Dangerous. These guys. This is like a crazy pitching rotation. John Montgomery Ward, absolutely. Um, Smart ball player and creator of the Players League. Very forward thinking. So John Montgomery Ward for a time was a Penn Stater, by the way. So same alma mater, baby. And then he went to law school. Ken, you would know, where did Ward went to law school somewhere then after Penn State? I don't remember. He's from Bellefonte, Pennsylvania. But this rotation for the New York Giants, or just this pitching staff. So you have the Hoosier Thunderbolt, right, who was a Hall of Famer, and then he's replaced by another Hall of Famer, a guy named Christy Mathewson. You got Iron Man Joe McGinnity on this team. You got Rube Marquardt, Tim Keefe, Mickey Welch. So this is a really tough rotation that you would have to deal with. Welch, Keefe. Now I would change this up. So in this file, Mike has Mathewson as a spot starter. I'm going to move Mathewson up, and I'm going to move Jewett Meakin down. Um, Mathewson definitely needs. So if you do download this file, and it's very easy to do in Action PC Baseball. Just go ahead, set rolls up for everybody. Set your rotation. It's really easy to do. So just do it. You can have the computer generated for you, or just clear it and then just start your lineup. Pretty simple. So we went to Columbia. Okay, yeah, smart guy. Was John Montgomery Ward. Really, just great. All right, so I don't know if there's any other rosters we could look at. Well, Cleveland, yeah, we could look at all. They're all so good, all so good. Let's start with hitters. Shoeless Joe Jackson, Tris Speaker, again, Nat Blajeway. We've seen him, but now here's somebody else, Steve O'Neill. Steve O'Neill. And again, all these where I've played in different types of old type leagues, or projects, or whatever. Steve O'Neill is a fantastic player. Charlie Jameson in here, and then we see Elmer Flick once again as well. Elmer Flick was just wicked good. Larry Gardner, so we've already seen Larry Gardner. Um, Good catcher here, Ted Easterly. Joe Harris, good first baseman. Once he said lawyer, I didn't think so. So no relationship to the store. Hey, John DFW, how you doing, man? Great to see you as well. So really fun. Again, we're showing some freebies here. We've already gone through APC community and the Tappa Talk forums. Now showing some other things that I've gotten, just hanging out and doing whatever. And we're just looking at rosters. For this one from Blue Rose Case, Mike Koss, who is a member of our family. So Bunk and Galton, not familiar. So there you go. So there's a player to learn about. And let's look at him. Let's look at him a little bit. So there he is. There's his picture. Kind of looks like a look in the eyes. It looks like Ray Liotta. Wow. Just realized that. Look at his eyes, man. It looks like Ray Liotta. Let me see. I don't know. We'd have to look at a bio on him, I think. We look him up on, again, we can do it on Baseball Reference or pull them into here now, apparently. So I'm not sure who he played for. Not an excellent fielder, as we can see here. He's just rated 2 in the outfield. So probably a utility guy, I think. Oops. Hit the wrong okay. Let's look at the bios here. So Mike did, there we go. So this is another thing that Mike did. So talk about, so last day of the season, 1978 out of the park franchise. Pirates lead the Phillies by 1 game and they play each other. Oh, John, I wish you broadcasted. That would be so much fun to see. That would be so much, just so much fun. So Ken and I be rooting here. So Mike just put some short notes here, just kind of some fun things. So just to show you how much work he put into this. So I am gonna, when I do go back, I'm rarely on Discord, but when I do go back there, I'm gonna be on more once Michael McGreevy starts here soon. But this is really a lot of work. He didn't have to, and he's done this for every player. So what do we know about Congalton? Well, he was a stonemason from Scotland. As Ken is cursing in my chat saying, let's go Phillies. I'm just calling it my chat because I'm picking on you now. Discord group. John, I hate to put you to work. Do you mind? Get an invite there for Umpman, and Umpman, just friend any of us in there. I'm Beatles Eternally. John is John DFW, what have you. Join. There's 3 free baseball games to download there. There's this cool stuff here from Mike. There's a lot of other stuff if you dig around, and it's a great community. It's a great community. So, so look at Ted Easterly here in 459 games behind the plate. Easterly threw out 427 attempted base stealers. Holy shit. So that's pretty cool. Yeah. So Pirates won 4-3 with Willie Stargell walk-off 2-run home run, the bottom line. Let's go Bucks. All right, Buccos. Nice. So now this is really fun. Now I want to look at some of these other notes. So again, this is a very, very small download. Yeah, and this I've told you guys many times about your speaker. And the outfield speaker played so shallow, he was almost a 5th infielder. He played just, I think, about somewhere 10 or 15 feet behind second base. So off Tug McGraw. Wow. Good stuff. So we'll get the invite link here for you, Umpman, and then just friend of one of us, join the Discord, have fun. It's really, really good. So we're talking about Elmer Flick. Well, let's look at Nap Lajoie, because Elmer Flick and Nap Lajoie had a big dust up, and Elmer Flick kicked the shit out of Nap Lajoie. But Lajoie, 6'1", 200 pounds. Lajoie possessed unusually large physique for his time. Another guy that would be the same, maybe not as far as height, but yeah, was Hannes Wagner. But that was a big player, Napoleon Lajoie. And when you think about how fast Lajoie was, and Lajoie will rip it up. No, again, the greatest players are going to rip it up, and I think that the baseball simulations that we have are sophisticated enough that we can start making meaningful comparisons. Now I didn't know this about Elmer Flick. He hit the first grand slam in World Series history. I did not know that until today. How about that? Pirates faced the Dodgers in the 1978 NLCS. This is going to be a good NLCS. So go Buccos. Phillies were good in the 70s. That 78 season, that 78 pennant race with the Phils, that was a great pennant race. Buccos win the World Series in 1979, and the Phillies win in 1980. So 79 and 80, good years for Pennsylvania baseball. And I'm also told the Steelers, so that's why the Pittsburgh were called the city of champions. I don't know what the Eagles did in 1980, but yeah. So the World Series trophy stays in Pittsburgh for 79 and 80. So pretty cool. And returns, right? It doesn't. The Phillies, they win it again or something. The cross-state rivals. Um, but this is a lot of work to do these notes. And Steve Tate really did a lot with his. So when he did which I'll show you guys, I have them somewhere, the Negro League players. That's so the major league equivalencies for those. Steve did a lot, typed in a lot of the notes for those. And so many, you only have so many characters, but great stuff. Elmer Flick, also best known as the player who Cleveland would not trade for the young Ty Cobb. So that's pretty interesting stuff like that. Von Gregg had a wicked curveball and a roller coaster career hampered by arm injuries. Um, so all kinds of really, really nice stuff. Shoeless Joe Jackson in 1912, new American League record with 26 triples in 1912. Funny about that is I believe 1912 is the same year that Chief Wilson led the National League in triples. So I don't know what was going on in 1912 with triples, but there was a crap ton of them. And nobody's ever approached Wilson's record in 1912. In fact, it'd be interesting to look at Sam Crawford sometime, as he's the all-time leader in triples, and see how many he hit in 1912. But that's kind of beyond. I'm already beyond the scope of every damn thing, anyhow. Let's go back and look at some notes on Cousin Ken's Phillies. Yep, I'm taking a lot of time on this because Mike put a lot of time on this. So in 1915, I mean, and Grover Cleveland Alexander with just great years. But in 1915, achieved the pitcher's triple crown, leading the league in wins, ERA, and strikeouts. He was untouchable in 1915. Dave Beauty Bancroft, I've talked about this guy a lot, and it was the funniest readout I ever did. And that was the night my internet like froze and nobody heard it. I was laughing. My ribs were hurting so hard at Dave Bancroft. He was called Beauty because of his prowess at the shortstop. And Mike notes this, that he was Hannes Wagner's successor as the National League's premier shortstop. And that says a lot about Bancroft. So while Bancroft didn't quite have the stick that Hannes Wagner had. I mean, Hannes Wagner was a slugger. He hit. But Bancroft, to call, he was just apparently everything I've ever read about Bancroft. Just a phenomenal shortstop. And you're talking about an era where where players didn't give other players compliments, and he was known as Beauty in both leagues because he was just such a fantastic shortstop. So that gets to too, one of the reasons why this family thing exists is because if somebody out there is going to dismiss these guys, I'm going to make sure that, if one or two people come out of here, through the course of the life of this thing, and I don't know how much longer I'm going to be doing this, but if like Bernie already, what mission accomplished? Bernie Strom took, and here's a guy, man, Bernie's in his 70s. And he said, okay, I've got to learn this. And he loves it. So, but it's not like the only, it's not like, oh, if you don't play dead ball baseball, you suck. No, it's not like that at all. But ever since I heard that YouTuber, and this was before I had my channel, when I heard him say that day, it's like, okay, hold my beer, dude. Sherry McGee, we've talked about this guy. This guy should be in the Hall of Fame. True five-tool player. He could hit, run, field, throw, and hit with power. Will he get elected to the Hall of Fame? Only, I guess, if they go back and revisit it. We don't have to get into that too much. Who else do we have here? So Possum Whitted, man, George Whitted. I love this guy and makes some great plays in the outfield. I've seen him do it here. Seen him doing it out of the park baseball. One of only 5 major leaguers to have played at least 40 games at every position except pitcher and catcher. So baseball's baseball. And so this is a person that would have been is dismissed by this YouTuber, right? But yet you still had the talent to have to, be able to play all those positions. Hannes Wagner, I think, did everything but pitch. In fact, the reason he was a utility player when he came to Pittsburgh was he was so good that Fred Clark, the manager, could play Wagner anywhere. Usually, if you're a utility player, you're kind of like, yeah, we'll get you off the bench and you can get in, get a couple of bats or whatever. Um, but Wagner was that good. And of course, the inaugural class of the Baseball Hall of Fame. Let's look at some notes. Let's see what else we got here. Gavy Kravitz, we know he led the National League in home runs 6 times. He was the dead ball home run king. Um, Roger Connor was one of the 19th century's greatest hitters and one of the game's first true sluggers. Roger Connor was the all-time home run king until Babe Ruth. And yeah, so some of them he doesn't have notes for. So like Dan Casey, maybe I'll do some research and maybe I'll fill that in. But anyhow, this is great. And guys, if you're in the Discord and you pick this up, just give Mike a thank you. All right, we would be remiss if we didn't do the Boston Red Sox. So Bill Kerrigan, he was tough, and he and Trust Speaker did not like one another. Kerrigan, a Catholic, Speaker, a Protestant. Ne'er the twain shall meet, especially back in those days. But behind the plate, he was 5'9", 175 pounds. Could you imagine in modern and now today baseball a 5'9", 175-pound catcher? I mean, wow. Compensated for his lack of size with sheer toughness, and he was. Um, so Jimmy Collins, again, great third baseman. I'm just looking at names here at kind of at random. So I didn't know this about this player, Tim Hendricks, so I really don't know a lot about. In 1920, he drove in 3 or more runs in 8 games. That's pretty nice, huh? Harry Hooper, I always mention him in games, a Hall of Famer, one of the best defensive right fielders in baseball history, and one of the top leadoff hitters. And up man, there is the invite to the Discord, the link to the Discord. Thank you so much for that, John. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So on and on and on it goes. An incredible amount of work um, done here. Ernie Shore, or you guys know about this one. He's most famously known for his combined hitter, which is really unfair. They should just give the no hitter to Ernie Shore by himself. So Babe Ruth um, argues balls and strikes or whatever it is in this game. He's pitching for the Red Sox, and he's tossed. Ernie Shore comes on and pitches the no hitter. You're just joined. All right, welcome, welcome, welcome. So reach out, friend us, man, and you can find those baseball games. Find this file, other stuff in there as well. All right, now let's jump out of this, and it'd be really fun to play an exhibition game, but we'll see. Let's go up to install season, and let me have a look around here at what's in the seasons folder. When you do download, if it's not a DK Sports product, make sure to put display all zip files. Okay, then that way you're going to see all the stuff that you can download that's free, whatever. And it's also, of course, going to have your Dave Cook stuff. So let's take one here. We spent a lot of time with dead ball era baseball. So let's go to 1970s all-time franchise great, and let's look at this. This is a homebrew that somebody did. So let's let it install, and it is installed, and we'll let it switch up. And now it's going to be names that you guys are going to be really familiar with those. So these are the best players of the 1970s. And again, now this wasn't done by Mike, so I'm not really sure who did this. But there we go. We got George Brett. Royals. It's more fun to look at rosters, isn't it? Let's look at rosters. So we'll start with Philadelphia. Okay. So these are the usual notes that you just get in Action PC Baseball, which is really, really nice. Tells you who's in the Hall of Fame or whatever. Like in the case of Pete Rose, Rookie of the Year in 1963, MVP 1973, whatever. And you can go in and edit all these things, by the way. But so for the Phils, man, you got, and there, again, you're going to have doppelgangers here. So, but, so Lonnie Smith, you're going to see Lonnie Smith elsewhere, Pete Rose elsewhere, Gary Maddox, Jay Johnson, Bake McBride. There's Wheels, Larry Boa, Dave Cash, Manny Trio, Willie Montanez, Del Unser, Michael Jack Schmidt, because you got to always call him Michael Jack Schmidt. Cesar Tovar in here, Tim McCarver. This is free. This is absolutely free. And that's a scary rotation right there. Carlton, Wise, Ruthven, Longboard, and Christensen. Wonder how my Buccos would do against those guys, huh? I wonder. Let's look at Pittsburgh's 1970s. So, um, again, you can put a lot of money. So we had Candelaria Moose, Blyleven, Broyles, and Ellis. Not bad. Clemente Easler, Stanek, Kleins, Parker, Sanguian, Oliver, Bill Robinson, who we just saw in the Phillies, is also here. Hebner, Stargell, Garner, Tim Foley, Richie Zisk, Dave Cash, who was also on the Phillies team. Some of them are just going to be one team, like Omar Moreno. There's Madlock, man, Frank Tavares, Ed Ott, Bob Robertson. Bob Robertson could hurt you, man. He 26 home runs, so much important. So again, this 1971, this doesn't mean this is the 1971 Pirates, but these are like kind of all-time franchise greats. And again, there's your pitching. So everybody, I don't know how many people remember, but Goose Gossage was a Pirate for a time. Kind of nice. There was our big closer before Tekalvi was Dave Giusti. So yeah, and then there's Teak down there, of course, with 31 saves. But Murtaugh, Dave Giusti was the man that Murtaugh went to. So yeah, cool stuff, right? And it's free, baby. It's free. How can you say no to free? I didn't set up the logos in any of these yet. I don't know. I would probably use this more as again, playing some whatever. Let's look at the Atlanta Braves. So you got what? You got Ralph Garr. He's got some pretty decent speed there. And Jerry Royster as well. Hank Aaron. I'm not sure about Hank Aaron. I don't know a lot about that player. Har har har. You got Bob Horner in there. Jeff Burrows, and I think we'll see Jeff Burrows probably with Texas as well, right? Biff Pocoroba, can't help but, boy, if that isn't a frat boy name, I don't know what is. Dale Murphy, Darrell Evans. So yeah, I mean, look at the White Sox. We had a White Sox game last night. So we saw a couple of these guys. Of course, there's Dick Allen, and I think Dick Allen's also. I don't know if he's on the Phillies. Isn't he Phillies in the '80s? Let me look at the Phillies again. See if we find Dick Allen, and let's just do it like this because certainly a lot easier. Yeah, so Dick Allen's not going to be in the Phillies in the '70s file. Hammer and Hank was better Milwaukee. Yeah. So, and we can do that. Let's look at that. Why not, man? You guys are hanging out for a little bit. I'm hanging out for a little bit. Why not? I love hanging out with all you people. You're awesome. All right, so let's install season. And again, remember. So when you go in your seasons file, or wherever you're keeping your seasons, just make sure to check display all zip files. Let's look at the 1950s. Let's look at the all-time franchise greats for the 1950s, and let's look at Hammer and Hank. And that's another decade that a lot of people don't play. It's a power decade, dominated by the Yankees, of course, in the American League, and Cardinals and the Dodgers in the National League. So let's look at Milwaukee here. And there he is. There's Hammer and Hank. So, yeah, I mean, Hammer and Hank, 39 home runs. And Dwayne Martz told me something earlier last year that I did not know. I mean, I have so much to learn about baseball. The Milwaukee Braves, they never had a losing season when the Braves were in Milwaukee. So, of course, we've had them in a couple tournaments here. They do tend to get knocked out in the first round, but the 57 Braves, you got Warren Spahn, Juan Pizarro, you got Buell, Lou Burdette is in here. Good stuff. Get Biff Ho to the Sports Almanac. How about it, Shackus? Welcome in, buddy. So There we go. Joe Adcock, you know, fine, fine player. Joe Adcock, I think, was the first or the only hitter to ever hit a ball onto the roof of Ebbets Field. Truth hurts. Wilkie, welcome in. Did I tell you there's a guy in 3 of your Diamond Mine leagues whose uncle was Steve Blass? You mentioned that to me. That is super cool. Steve Blass, man. Um, Excellent pitcher. He and Roberto Clemente won that 1971 series for us. And of course, they think it was psychological. Blass lost everything after 1972, after Roberto was killed on December 31st. So welcome in, bud. Good to see you. And actually, with Truth Hurts Wilkie, I will just mention this, but we'll do another different broadcast on it because a lot more people now have adopted Diamond Mine Baseball. There's a crap ton of freebies for that game, too, including every season from 1871 to 1926. There's some great all-time franchise league stuff done by 2 different guys, Keith Hemmelman and Quentin Hoover. So you can pick those up. So, but we'll do a separate thing for Diamond Mine Baseball down the road. So now we're in the 1950s. So I'm not expecting my Buccos to. We weren't very good in the 50s, but we start to have the genesis of the teams that will be right, that will eventually lead to that great 70s decade and some decent 60s teams as well. So there you've already got Roberto Clemente. There's Bill Mazeroski, Don Hoke, Dick Grote, Ralph Kiner. Ralph Kiner, man. I mean, he's the slugger on this team, no doubt. Um, so, again, people in the community have gone out and they have done the hard work for us. Just download these, go find them, play them. Again, a lot of these are in the APC community, and a lot of them too. Just Google Action PC Baseball, homebrew seasons, whatever. Again, we've shown you there's tons of ballparks. There's like every ballpark. If there's an image of the ballpark, you can find it. And good news is you can also use Mike Silva's ballparks. He did create a that's available also to download. So like for parks like Palace of the Fans in Cincinnati, you would be able to have that as well because we don't really have any extant photos of it. So Mike had to go a lot on just what was written about it. And of course, you can find dimensions of any ballpark in Baseball Reference, Baseball Almanac. If you still have the Total Baseball books, that has all the dimensions of every ballpark. So let's see. Let's look at Philadelphia in the 1950s because, of course, you had those whiz kids in 1950. Richie Ashburn, he's one of my favorite Phillies of all time. Dal Ennis, he's pretty tough. Granny Hamner, Willie Jones, but Richie Ashburn, man, he's guy's no slouch, man. Pretty good center fielder out there. Dick Sisler, of course, related to one of the greatest of all time. Dick Sisler was not one of the greatest of all time, but some guy named George was. There's Andy Semenick. So, did yeoman duty with the Philadelphia Phillies in the 50s. So that's another sort of fun set that you can play around with. And of course, this one contains the greatest center fielder in baseball history, Willie Mays. So we do want to remember that. Is Dwayne in here? What else? What else is there, man? Let's go back to install. I'm not going to show everything, certainly. But let's see what else we have here. So let's do another all times franchise great. Let's do another one. And let's do the 1990s. Let's do the 1990s. Let's install it. And it's ready to rock and roll. So here we are. And we wait a minute. Boom, there we go. We don't even have to go over these teams. God, just pick a roster. Anybody wants to pick a roster, we can look at a roster. If you guys don't know the 1990s, I mean, come on, I even know the 1990s players. So there we go. So, cousin Ken, when do you want to do game 5, man? Do you want to do that tonight, or let me know whenever you want this evening? Tonight we'll do game 5 of the 1912 World Series. Looking forward to that. I'm starting Maddie tonight, and you already had Smokey Joe last game, so my Giants did not show up in game 4 at all. Like, Ken just killed me in game 4, so we are knotted at 2 games apiece. Again, repeating my announcement, tomorrow is quit day for smoking, man. Tomorrow's it. So I appreciate you guys. If I seem a little bit more flighty than usual, it's because I ain't smoking anymore starting tomorrow. All right. Well, I'm going to look at my Pirates here for a few minutes here. Good stuff. Tonight works for you, Ken? All right. And I won't be late, I promise. I'm not going to like go on at midnight. I know that's late for you. So, boy. So again, we're going to see some, you know, again, now do I know all of these players? Warren Morris, I don't know that I remember him very well. Do you remember Joe Randa though? And of course, all the usual suspects here. You know, Bell, Bonds, Bonilla. I forgot until I looked at this that Will Cordero was a Pirate for a little while as well. The original Brian Giles here, Jeff King, Jason Kendall, Lavalier, Al Martin, good steady player for the Buccos. Tony Womack. Womack, I think he went on to play for the Braves. Don Slott. So we had 2 pretty good catchers in the 90s for the Buccos. Let's look at the Phillies. Got to look at the Philadelphia Phillies, man. Phillies, you got Abreu, Rico Brogna, Darren Dalton. May his memory be eternal. Dutch, how about it? Mariano Duncan spending some time here. Dykstra, of course. Jim Eisenreich. You guys remember Jim Eisenreich. Ron Gant. Yeah. So there's going to be some crossover. John Crook. Gotta love John Crook, man. Right? Pitchers. So, yeah, right. There's Kurt Schilling, Mulholland. This would be a really fun, even with the so you got Schilling, Jackson, Mulholland, Stevenson, and Green. Spot starters Portugal and Rivera. What's the bullpen look like here? So good stuff. Good stuff. Good stuff. Good stuff. There's no saved lineups here, I don't think. No, there isn't. So there's another. All right, that man's going to take off, get some things done. Great info here. Until next time. Thank you, my friend. Thank you for coming in. Yeah, we're gonna. I might do a game, but we're gonna shut down this part of it. I just want to try to find maybe 1 or 2 more, just to just quickly show you just really how much is out there. Of course, these are the here's another one that's interesting. This is 1901 to 1942. I think this is Steve Tate. I think. I think Steve did this one. I'm not sure. Let's have a look at it. So this would be kind of more comfortable. Let's say if you kind of want to jump around and get to know players, and not just in the dead ball era, but in the first, right, almost the first half of the 20th century. Certainly can do that. Let's go to 1940 Cincinnati, for instance. These Cincinnati Reds were very, very, very tough. Um, but it's also so normalized there, the 1940. But obviously, Jake Daubert not on the 1940 Reds, but you're going to get a mix of players from 1901 to 1942 in here, including the immortal Babe Pinelli, which we can never forget about the immortal Babe Pinelli, right? So good stuff there. For pitching, of course, the only man to throw consecutive no-hitters, Johnny Vandermeer, Bucky Walters, damn fine pitchers, Noodles Hahn, very good pitcher, Epirexia Hall of Famer, of course. And I say that knowing full well that I'm supposed to hate the Reds. Chicago, looking at the Cubbies, man. You got, so this guy Kyler, and actually I should see if he's on the Pirates. Let me check something really quickly. Kyler's one of these players that you can put on both. Okay, so in this one, Kyler is just a Cub. So he had great years in Pittsburgh and in Chicago, but he played an extra year with the Cubs, and I think that really Kyler is a Cub. But great player here. You got Stan Hack. Stan Hack is tough, man. And it was funny. I was watching a when a Legends was doing a game, and Stan Hack came to bat. Cubs were playing. I said, "Man, I said this guy will hurt you." And Hack, boom, just did it. It was like right on target. So really, really, really cool stuff. I don't know. I know I get terribly long winded about this stuff. I own it. I know, and I'm really, really I'm kind of I'm very enthusiastic about it because I just love baseball so much, and I'm even noticing now a trend that people are starting to kind of not even think about players from the 1950s as we go on. I guess that's something that's going to happen. But yeah, so there we go. There's lots more, lots more. But everything that I've shown today is free, and if you own um, Action PC Baseball, you really owe it yourself um, to download this. Yankees, no need to go over really no need to go over their rosters at all. But imagine what you could do with this. So it doesn't look like there are doppelgangers in this one. I don't think. And if there is, so what? Imagine the amazing draft league you could do. You could empty all these players and draft them. So players from um, practically the first half of the 20th century. A ton of baseball that you can play right here. A metric ton. We've shown Steve Tate's files many, many times on the channel, and they're crazy. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to stop the screen share, change the sound, and we're just going to do an exhibition game. So I've never really messed with this particular set a lot. So this freebie. So again, this is 1901 to 1942 franchise. So we'll do a game, and then I'll go to sleep or something. All right. So we're just going to stop the screen share, and I've got to change my sound preferences because with this one, I do like to have the earphones on. And if you can't hang around, there'll be a game later, you know? So that'll be fun, I hope. All right, so let me share the screen and entire screen and Action PC and share sound. And we're back. Let me do this little hide thing. And let me get, okay, my little tiger's already gone. All right. I don't think there's a schedule with this. Nope, no games. So I'd have to create a schedule for this. We'll just do an exhibition game. Shaka says just finished his 1980 draft for his parallel league. Says Beatles, I'm going to assign you the Monongahela Monarchs. Thank you. And by the way, thank you for your pro. That just reminded me. So Michael McGreevy, guys, we're gonna start gearing it up now, with my mom doing better and stuff like that. So this week, I do have eye surgery on Thursday, job interview on Tuesday. I'm helping a dear friend with a business that she has. So I'm doing, uh, well, I've already, I've designed her website, things like that, but I'm doing like a lot of the blog posts, the SEO stuff, creating videos for it. So that's going to take some time, but with my mom doing better, Lord willing, it keeps on going. I'm going to be able to now get Michael McGreevy going. So Shaq is looking forward. So what game are you playing this 1980 draft for? What game are you playing that in, or what engine, whatever you want to call it? Curious minds want to know. You're doing it here, out of the park, whatever. Yeah. Oh, somebody asked in the Discord, which was really kind of interesting. Can you use Pocket Pennant Run Baseball as a board game assistant? Yes. It's kind of what it does. It's up to you guys. We can do an Action PC baseball game. We can do a strat game, or we can do an Apago game here, or a Diamond Mine game. I have Action PC up here, so why not? Oh, fast inning baseball. All right, cool. Fast inning baseball. I don't have it, but I've been wanting to get fast inning baseball and kind of mess around with it and stuff like that. It looks really cool. I believe that's Al Wilson, right? Fast inning baseball. And do correct me if I'm wrong, please, please, please. All right. Sometimes this game gets weird with exhibitions, but we're going to give it a go here. And I've actually been doing a lot of pirate games lately on the channel, so we're not going to do a pirate game today. Um, I don't know. Let me see. Boy, National League, American League. Well, we got to do it. Yeah, we're going to do a Yankees Red Sox. Yankees Red Sox. Okay, Al Wilson. Thank you, buddy. All right, so let's have the Yankees visit the Red Sox. All right. Should be a pretty good game here, I think. Playing at Fenway, and let's play it on April 22nd. All right. And let the computer manage the Yankees, and let's go. All right. So we're going to do boom and boom. Should be good. And look at that. Wow. This is going to be fun. This is going to be fun. So let's go to Fenway Park and let's play a little Red Sox Yankees. Why not? Oh, man. So Shaq is telling me here, he says Monongahela is pitching rich. He's just drafted Bob Ojeda to join Steve Rogers and John Candelaria. Oh, definitely. All right, go Mon River, baby. All right, welcome to Fenway Park for this exhibition between the New York Yankees and the Boston Red Sox. Ray Caldwell will be starting for the Yankees, and he will be opposed by Cy Young, Red Sox. 57 degrees here today at Fenway Park. Wind speed 7 miles per hour out to left field. And guys, we are getting closer. We are about, 5 to 6 weeks until pitchers and catchers report. So, hang in, man. We're under the 50-day mark now. We're getting there. We're getting there. All right, let's
play ball.
All right. Starting defense for the Boston Red Sox. Their mascot is a disco lion with a crown. Oh, I gotta see that. I definitely gotta see that, man. That's so cool. In left field, the splendid splinter, Ted Williams. In center, the Gray Eagle, Tris Speaker. And in right, Hall of Famer Harry Hooper. So again, this is a free league that is downloadable. These are franchise best from 1901 to 1942. At first base, the beast, Jimmy Fox. At second, the great Bobby Doerr. At short, Hall of Famer Joe Cronin. At third, a fantastic third baseman, Jimmy Collins. Rick Farrell, deservedly in the Hall of Fame, great defensive catcher. And on the mound, Denton True Young, leading things off here for the New York Yankees. Third baseman, Red Rolfe. 306 average, 9 home runs, 72 runs batted in. Let's have a little baseball fun. Young deals, and Rolfe smacks this to Jimmy Fox, and Fox will take it to the bag unassisted for 1 out. Here's the catcher, Bill Dickey. Hall of Famer, 324 average for him, 10 home runs, 78 runs batted in. Young into the wind, and the 0-1 pitch. Base hit into left field. Speaker and Williams converge. Williams gets to the ball and fires it back in. So Bill Dickey aboard, and that will bring up some guy named Baby Ruth. I don't know. Was it that wimpy deer? Anyhow, 371 average, 47 home runs for the Bambino, and 132 runs batted in, making his return here to Fenway Park as a member of Jacob Rupert's Yankees. All right, Cy Young deals. Ruth swings in the first pitch. Liner to Fox. Did they double up Dickey? They did not. Bill Dickey dives back under. So Fox Uh, Good chance there, but big out. So two away, and it brings up the Iron Horse. I think this guy has to be among everybody's favorite baseball player. Just period. The great Lou Gehrig, 352 average, 40 home runs, 163 runs batted in. Two down. Bill Dickey on first. We're just underway here at Fenway Park. Cy Young,
Dead
2-2 pitch.
ball.
And Cy Young plunks Lou Gehrig. How about that? All right. So we're just gonna call it exhibition game, not everything kind of warmed up thing, because Gehrig was an aggressive player, but I don't think that Cy Young would want to plunk him. Anyhow, here's the Yankee Clipper. 350 average for DiMaggio, 34 home runs, 138 runs batted in. So tough teams here, both sides. And in fact, you'd be tempted to give the Yankees a little bit of the power edge here, I guess. But these are strong teams, as you would expect. All right, Young deals to Gehrig, 1-0 pitch, and this one slapped to Jimmy Fox, who feeds on to Cy Young covering to retire Joe DiMaggio and the Yankees. So the Yanks, no runs, one hit, no errors. We played a half inning here at Fenway Park. And it's the Yankees, nothing of the Red Sox. Pardon me, coming to bat. Starting defense for the New York Yankees in left field. It's Babe Ruth. In center, Joe DiMaggio. And in right, George Selkirk. Hell of a player, George Selkirk. At first base, Lou Gehrig. At second, Flash Gordon. Lou Gehrig, I'll be loving you always, says Parallel League Shackist. Roger Peckinpah. Here's somebody kind of forgotten. An absolutely superb shortstop, Roger Peckinpah. At third base, Red Wolf, another excellent player. Behind the plate, Bill Dickey, and on the mound today, Ray Caldwell for the Yanks. All right, leading things off, Tris Speaker, 352 average for him, 6 homers, 77 runs batted in, and Speaker is fast and a superb bunter. You can see there that rating there. He has an 8 for bunts, and if he gets on, he's going to hurt you. All right, Caldwell has the sign from Bill Dickey. Here's the wind, 0-2 pitch, and Speaker sends this out to left field. Babe Ruth ranging over to his left, and he will glove it for out number one. Here's Harry Hooper now. 274 average for Hooper, 3 homers, 41 runs batted in. Caldwell deals, 0-1 pitch. Hooper, this one popped to short. Peckinpah has it. 2 up, 2 down here for Ted Williams, 356. 32 home runs, 129 runs batted in. Splendid splinter. Waits for the pitch and slaps this toward right, as you would expect. Dead pull hitter. And Williams getting good wood on that one. Selkirk plays it on the bounce. So Ted Williams is aboard for Jimmy Fox. Ted Williams said you could blindfold him. And I've said it a million times. He said Jimmy Fox's, when he hit, it sounded different than anybody else. It was like an explosion. Incredible power. And when he retired, was second only to Babe Ruth in career home runs. Jimmy Fox, 326 average, 40 home runs, and 134 runs batted. I'm going to tell you guys a little secret. Parallel League saying he likes how the Yankees retired number 8 for both Dickey and Berra. Absolutely. Two of the greatest catchers in baseball history. I'm going to tell you guys a little secret about the Michael McGreevy League. So the guy that is at bat right now, this dude over here, Jimmy Fox, I find that, the 1920s, such a fascinating decade. But the reason I originally wanted to include the 1920s was not for Gehrig, not for Ruth, not for Simmons, but just so I would have a chance at getting Jimmy Fox. He's one of my favorite players of all time. And just great. Jimmy Fox is awesome. But it got voted down. No 1920s. So that's all right. Still love you guys anyhow. All right. Ted Williams on a first, 2 away for Boston in the bottom of the first inning. Caldwell lets it go. Pop behind the plate. Bill Dickey, will he have room? He will not. This one gets over the netting there. So Jimmy Fox is going to get another look at Caldwell. 0-2 pitch. And Jimmy Fox Big swing and a miss, and that's it. No runs, one hit, no errors. And we go to the top of the second. We are scoreless at Fenway. All right, George Selkirk, Flash Gordon, and Roger Peckinpah, 6-7-8 due up for the Bombers. Young brings it, 1-1 pitch, and Selkirk is going to line this one over second into right field. Base hit as Harry Hooper comes in on the ball. So Selkirk is aboard. Selkirk, somewhat of a threat to go. So Young is going to keep at least a little bit of an eye on him as Flash Gordon steps in. Superb second baseman here. 284 average for Joe, 25 home runs, and an even 100 runs batted in. Selkirk leads off first. Cy Young with a check of the runner, comes home with it. Selkirk was off the pitch. Fly ball to right. Hooper back, short of the track, makes the grab, and hustling back to first will be Mr. Selkirk. Brings up Roger Peckinpah, 270 average for Peckinpah, 5 homers, 49 run batted in. And this is going to be a throwdown to first by Rick Farrell, but Selkirk wisely gets back quickly. So good snack there by Farrell. All right, 1-0 pitch. Peckinpah sends this to center field. Speaker has great range and has it out there toward the triangle. Selkirk will be hugging first again. So Speaker, again, so accurate. I mean, you look at this. His range incredible. He did have a powerful arm, by everything I've read about Tris Speaker. All right, here's Ray Caldwell now. Caldwell hit 237 with a home run and 11 runs batted in. So 2 down. Looks like we might have the makings of a pitcher's duel. We'll see. Caldwell, liner right to Cy Young. And that is out number 3. So the Yankees pick up a hit, and that's it. We go to the bottom of the second inning, scoreless. John DFW says Peckinpah was very good defensively at over 300 in 1919. Yeah, and largely a forgotten player. You know, somebody made the comment, oh, you know, these guys were a bunch of carpenters and plumbers and ditch diggers. Well, they were good enough to make one of the 16 Major League Baseball teams. I mean, if the competition wasn't that stiff, you would have had, you know, I mean, come on. I mean, so even when DiMaggio, his rookie year is 1936, it's still just 16 teams. And I don't know if Ken Castro's still here. I would need somebody to remind me what year Branch Rickey created the affiliated minor leagues. So wasn't a lot of room to move up and down like you do today. You know, I mean, the Pirates AA club, which they draw a lot from, is 98 miles from the city. So that wasn't necessarily the case back in the day. All right, the number 5, 6, 7 hitters due up for the Boston Red Sox: Joe Cronin, Rick Farrell, and Bobby Doerr. Cronin, 307 average, 19 home runs, 103 runs batted in. All right, Caldwell has a sign from Bill Dickey, and here it comes. 1-1 pitch, and this one lofted out to right field. Joe Gordon out, Selkirk coming in. Selkirk calls him off and makes the grab. So F9, 1 away for Rick Farrell. So Rick Farrell, known more for his defensive prowess as a catcher, but a 302 average, 4 home runs, 48 runs batted in. Brother of Wes Farrell. Caldwell brings a 2-0 pitch, base hit, right field. So the Red Sox pick up their second hit of the game. Farrell aboard. Farrell not a threat to steal as Bobby Doerr steps to the plate here. 293 hitter, 14 home runs, 91 runs batted in for Bobby Doerr. Ray Caldwell brings a 3-0 pitch. Caldwell, 4 straight pitches to walk Doerr. And pitching to Jimmy Collins could be interesting. Collins, a 298 hitter, 5 home runs, 72 runs batted in. Jimmy Collins, a member of the 19-aughts Boston Red Sox. Caldwell deals. Collins swings, and there we go. As if on cue, that's going to be an RBI single. Rick Farrell will come in to score. Bobby Doerr will be held at third. So Boston, thanks to the dead baller, takes an early lead here, 1-0 in the bottom of the second inning. And here's Cy Young, 227 average for Cy. Home run, 13 runs batted in. Infield looking bunt here with 1 down. And the throw to first, Jimmy Collins back. Jimmy Collins definitely a threat to steal. And the pitch.
Strike three.
And Cy Young swing and a miss. All right, so the Yankees now could put the infield back a little bit as we go back to the top of the order. And the Gray Eagle flew out to deep left center last time. Ruth had to go a little ways to get to that ball. Here's the pitch. And Speaker swings Caldwell to Gehrig. And that is the second inning for the Red Sox. But one run, an RBI by Jimmy Collins on 2 hits, no errors. We go to the top of the third inning. And the Red Sox lead the Yankees 1-0. Thank you for hanging in. The hardcores are here hanging in. So cool. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And there's Philip Reynolds. We got to get Philip Reynolds on the mic here. Not during this game because we have sound going, but Philip's been wanting to come on here. Big Cincinnati Reds fan. Red Rolf, nothing for one, as we have ascended to the summit of the Yankees order. So we grounded to first back in the first inning. Cy Young thus far has just given up 2 hits, has yet to strike out or walk a batter. Young brings it to Rolf, and Rolf, this one slashed up the middle. Bobby Doerr leaps, can't get to that ball. Gets down on a good bounce for Speaker. So Red Rolf has himself a base hit. Occasional speed for him. Bill Dickey, what's new? Hey, Forrest, how you doing? I was on Discord earlier just looking at messages and stuff like that in the league, and I saw you were playing some out-of-the-park baseball. I hope you're having fun with that. And what are you doing? What's the project you're doing for us? Let us know. What's new? So, Philip, this was all about telling people about all the free things you can get for Action PC Baseball. We're playing in one of those right now. This is not a year, Philip. This is freely downloadable, and I've shown a ton of stuff today that you can get free for this game. This is called Franchise Best 1901 to 1942, and it's a blast. It is an absolute blast to play, and we're just doing an exhibition game right now. What else is new? My mom is doing better thanks to all your prayers and hopes, everybody. And tomorrow's my day 1 of quit smoking. So, yikes. So that's what's new. What's new with you, Philip? What's new with you, man? So, Philip, if you're an Action PC player, later on, man, go back and look, within the first hour. And go download all these things. And again, I didn't show everything. There's a ton. What a great community is Action PC Baseball. And there's Paul. He's back. So you're doing 1971 as played replay. Awesome. So you're doing it. What game again for? In Out of the Park. And I'm doing it on Action PC. So we should compare notes. Paul, how you doing? Paul, I'm getting that traceback error in Pocket Pennant Run. I'll submit it to the software thing. I was going to do a game of Pocket Pennant Run last night. Went to load in the 1991 season and got that deadly traceback error. I don't know what's going on. But I'll shoot that to Craig or you or whoever can look at it. Oh, you don't have a computer anymore? Well, Philip, we got to figure out something. Community, we got to figure out something for Philip, man. Get him a PC so he can play his Reds and Action PC Baseball. He's much with the Reds as Bernie is with the Red Sox. If they're ever here in the same time, we're going to do we'll fire up this file and do Reds versus Red Sox, or maybe we'll replay the 1975 World Series or something. I don't know. Bill Dickey, 1 for 1, single to left center. Thank you, Paul. Appreciate you, buddy. I hope you're doing well, man. You are missed around here, and believe me, stuff's going to get straightened out. Just, I need your patience, man, for this week. Please, please, please. All right, here we go. Rolf leads off first, and Cy Young deals 1-0 pitch, and there goes Rolf off to the races, slides, and picks up the stolen base. And I did say he's the occasional threat to steal, so Red Rolf pilfers one. So runner in scoring position, potential tying run for the New York Yankees. Bill Dickey back in the box. Philip says he's finished with his first month of 1980s Phillies. They are 9-6 so far, and Mike Schmidt with 5 home runs, and Luzinski with 3. Philip, what game are you playing that in? What game was it? Not had of reports of 1991 faults. Tell me the exact game, and I will look in the morning. So what I did is I was just the play game from history, and look, it might do it right now. Do you want me to try it? I don't know how much resources, and I don't have everything on my new computer yet, so I can try it right now so you can see it. Kaboom! So you're doing it in History Maker or Baseball Express. I know you mentioned you really, really like that. Yep, I am giving up smoking, man. It's not only for health, but it's yeah, it's a stupid habit, right? Forrest says he just started his 1971 replay. He said he wasn't alive in 1971, so he's trying to experience history to learn through these games. Born in 81, so missed a lot of good baseball. Yes, you did, my friend. You know what? We're also talking about that. We've talked about that in other sort of chin wags and broadcasts here that these baseball games are fantastic adjuncts to learning baseball history. Really, really nice. All right, I'm going to try it. If it crashes now, no, no, dude, vaping, man, that stuff blows up in your face. I'm not doing that stuff. I'm going to bring a pocket pennant run for a minute. Let me see if I can reproduce this bug because I felt like doing a game last night in 1991. I didn't because I thought, well, before I broadcast, I'm going to play some baseball anyhow. So Paul says all baseball pre '84 is before he discovered it. All right, so we're going to play a game from history, and I'm going to select a season, 1991, load save season, and I just picked a game at random. It was a pirate game that I picked at random. So let me find the pirate game. Pirates at Expos, I think was yes, it was, and print play game. Now watch it not happen because Paul's here. Okay, and play game day. All right, well, yeah, it didn't crash. Damn it. Are we going to try to do two games here at once? No. Bob Walk. There's Delano DeShields to lead off. Well, let's see if it tries to crash when we do a play. How about if we do that? Crashed on me last night, man. But now today it's behaving as... That's because it knows you're here. It knows you're here. All right, here's the pitch. Strike three. Down goes Delano DeShields. All right. Well, if it happens again, Paul, I'll take a screenshot. We'll get back to this Red Sox in a minute. I'm trying to get this thing. Come on, crash. All right, here's Dave Martinez. And here's the pitch. Bob Walk used to make me nervous when he was on the mound. But there you go. What can you say? So this is going to be a batter 10, power check 11. Oh, my God. And Dave Martinez just knocks it out of River Stadium. Damn it. So Paul's here. My Pirates give up a home run. See, isn't that nice? It could be memory overload. Yeah. So I'm doing so much on this laptop. I have an infinitely more powerful computer sitting next to me with an RTX card in it and a billion gigs of RAM and stuff. But I haven't moved any of the baseball stuff over. So yeah, yeah, that is the biggest, right? Those intermittent things. All right, so it's behaving itself. We're going to go ahead and jump out of pocket pennant run. Looking forward to more cool stuff like the bulk team import you were talking about. Great. Oh, the photos from Pocket Pennant Run. So, Forrest, when you download the game, we download the software, the PPR Manager. When you go there, you'll see a folder like it's play. Let me here. I'll show you the folder. I try to explain things, and it just ain't gonna work that way because that just ain't the way I roll, man. So let's go to C, and let's go to PPR and Pennant Run and artwork, and then you just pop your players right in there. And nicely, they're split up into years too. So it's working on it, working on it. Um, so the only thing with these pictures is if you also wanted to use them with Out of the Park Baseball and Action PC, you would just have to just have the game ignore the year, or they won't import properly. But other than that, there they all are, and I think it's like 3 or 4 gigs or something like that. So just download them, and you're gonna have two photo directories. So for players too, and you have Negro League players and your meeples, but I pretty much put everybody. Um, so there's like everybody in players two. This is the way I do it. So everybody is in here in my players two folder, but the other one with just the players, that is where I have sort of that's where everybody is kind of split up. So that's where you get it. So back to this again, this freebie here on Action PC Baseball. And Bill Dickey's been up at bat forever. All right, but Red Rolf with a stolen base, Cy Young deals. Dickey sends this one out, short fly ball to center field, and Tris Speaker is going to get that ball anywhere from the triangle to second. All right, one away. So the game comes with those photos? Yes, it does. It absolutely does. In fact, here I will show you. I got to do this. I trust that you own the game, but um, I gotta still do this bit off screen in case it asks me um, for the thing, and it does, of course. Um, oh God, I gotta go. Hang on a second. I should have this like memorized, right? But half the time I don't have to use the password. So just give me a minute here, because I do want to show this to Forrest. It's about community. It's about community, baby. All right. PO. Pocket pen and run. There we go. Pocket pen and run baseball. Da, 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 da. There it is. I just always forget because it is case sensitive and all that. All that ruts. Yeah. Now it's safe to bring over. There we go. Let me close the Pocket Pennant Run site over here. All right, cool. You do have it. Awesome. Then you know the password. Just check your email. So here's everything. And it'll even tell you which file you need. But right here, artwork zips. There's right. You can see here's 2.13 gigabyte zipped up. So that you just download it, unzip it, and the directory structure is already set up in Pocket Pennant Run, and you're ready to rock. So that's all you got to do. So just go to software and pocketpennantrun.com, and it'll come to this. And I don't know if you're aware, but Paul Fay's Baseball HQ is now integrated into Pocket Pennant Run, and it's a great, fantastic app. All right, here's Babe Ruth, 0 for 1 in the game. Ruth, hard liner to Bobby Doerr, makes the grab. So Ruth stymied twice. Here's Lou Gehrig now. Gehrig was drilled by Cy Young his last time up. Young brings it. Gehrig swings, popped on the infield, third base side, and Jimmy Collins gets to the ball. And that does it for the Yankees in the top of the third. No runs, one hit, no errors, a wasted stolen base by Red Rolf. We go to the bottom of the third inning at Fenway Park. And it is the Red Sox 1 and the Yankees nothing. All right, Harry Hooper is nothing for 1. He popped a short back in the first. Infield looking bunt from Harry Hooper. Caldwell deals. Hooper swings away. Long fly ball center field. Yankee Clipper on his horse. Brings it down. 1 away. Splendid Splinter 1 for 1. Single between first and second. Caldwell deals. Williams once again. Base hit into right field. Williams isn't going to poke it anywhere else. Just ask the 1946 Cardinals about that. All right, so Williams a perfect 2 for 2 today, and here is Double X. Struck out back in the first. Caldwell deals, and Jimmy Fox goes down on strikes again. Ouch. So 2 away for Boston here in the bottom of the third inning. Joe Cronin, 0-for-1, flew out to shallow right. Ray Caldwell. Williams isn't going anywhere, man. He's not going anywhere. Caldwell deals. Cronin sends a shot out to the Yankee Clipper, who has to go to his left this time. And the Red Sox go quietly. We've played 3 here at Fenway. The Red Sox lead the Yanks 1-0. And every time Paul comes in here, I never have a Cubs game going, and I feel really badly about that, Paul. I really, really do. So, Sea Beatles gave those picks to Craig. They came from Action PC. Oh, they did. Okay. If they came, so yeah, they can be used in Action PC. But I think with Out of the Park, I don't know if those will import into Out of the Park with that year. So you got those from the Action PC community. I didn't get any of my player picks from Action PC community. I got mine from the Action PC forum from Cheech. So maybe that's why. I don't know. But in Action PC baseball, you can append the year actually. Now that I think about it. So so John says that he prefers Mike's Out of the Park ballparks versus the photos in Action PC. It's great ballparks. I love them both. I'll switch off. In fact, if I'm doing something that's older baseball, I am so glad you are back. Nearly sleepy time for you. Yeah, I guess it is. I'm glad you're back too. Yeah, I mean, so because you have Gary Grigsby's things. You have like so for Exposition Park. So that was the Pirates' home park before Forbes Field opened in June of 1909. Thank you, cousin Ken, for that one. Opened 2 months after Shibe. But with Mike, right, it's that I like that Exposition Park. It's there. Yeah, they're amazing. Um, and if you have Out of the Park baseball, actually, I don't even think you have to have Out of the Park baseball. Just go to the Out of the Park forums, download the ballparks, and you can use all those ballparks. With the images used right in Action PC baseball. All right, take care, Paul. Sleep well. Cheers, man. I'll hit you up on Messenger. All right, buddy. Be well. All right, here's the Yankee Clipper. He is 0-for-1. And I got to see if they have a service patch for this, because it doesn't look like they do, because it's doing weird things every once in a while, but that's all right. DiMaggio swings, 2-hopper, 2-door, over to Jimmy Fox. 1 up, 1 down. So for everybody talking about like a pocket pennant run does weird things or crashes, see now, and that's something that I can't reproduce. Now, so when I was going over Joe DiMaggio's name, it was giving me the inning summary up there, on the line score, but now it's fine with Selkirk. So you're going to get those weird little things. And this game will crash too, by the way. And it's been around almost as long as Out of the Park. So let's cut pocket pennant run some slack. It's doing a good job. And it's just going to keep getting better. Young deals to Selkirk. And grounder, it's going to be door to Fox again. The other reason I mention that is I'll see some comments. People say, yeah, pocket pennant run looks like it's fun, but it's frustrating me. It's still very early days for it, and there was so much added to the game last year. More moving parts going to happen. It'll get as stable as Out of the Park baseball someday. It will. Out of the Park baseball has been rock solid for me. So Forrest loves pocket pennant run. Where else can you get, right? My favorite feature for us to pocket pennant run again is picking a date in baseball history and playing the game, or letting pocket pennant run just throw some games at me, and I can keep doing that. You pick it, or AI picks and play, and you don't have to install any seasons. I love it. I love it. And for all the other things it does too. I absolutely love that game. I have faith in it. And it plays a nice game of baseball. It really does. It's going to get better too. Ratings are going to be changing. We're going to be seeing fielding stats coming up this year, bulk import of teams, a lot of stuff on the way for pocket pennant run, and you can get the thing for $14.99. All right, Joe Gordon flew out last time. Up, 2 down. Cy Young deals 1-1 pitch, pop behind the plate. Farrell Doesn't even
Double!
bother tossing aside the mask. He knows it's going to make it over the netting, but he's going to run back anyhow just to earn that paycheck. All right, Farrell back behind the plate. Joe Gordon's going to rewind it again here. 1-2
Strike
pitch.
three!
Joe Gordon goes down on strikes. And that's the first strikeout issued by Cy Young in this game. No runs, no hits, no errors. We go to the bottom of the fourth here. Fenway Park. And it's the Red Sox 1 and the Yankees nothing. Ray Caldwell, on the other hand, has struck out 3 and walked 1 through 3 innings of work. All right. So it's going to be Farrell, Dorr, and Collins due up for the Boston Red Sox. Rick Farrell, 1 for 1, singled back in the second. He would come around the score on the Jimmy Collins single. Caldwell deals, and Rick Farrell on a 3-2 pitch will get the walk. So Farrell aboard and brings up Bobby Dorr. Bobby Dorr walks. So let's see if that happens again. Caldwell deals and throw down by Bill Dickey. Do they get Farrell? They do not. He dives back under Lou Gehrig's tag. So 2 Hall of Fame catchers in today's game. Bill Dickey for the Yankees and Rick Farrell for the Boston Red Sox. Caldwell deals. Bobby Dorr swings, fly ball, shallow left. Coming in on it is Babe Ruth, and he will make the catch. So 1 away. Here's Jimmy Collins, 1 for 1, responsible for the lone run in this game. Caldwell deals. Collins swings, grounded to Red Rolfe at third, and hard slide by Farrell is going to break up any chance for a double play. So Collins aboard, 2 away. Cy Young, 0 for 1, struck out back in the second. Caldwell deals, and down goes the Cyclone again. No runs, no hits, no errors. And after 4 here in Boston, it is still 1-0 between the greatest professional sports rivalry. Somebody told me that really, like, the only other rivalry in sports that may rival this, or at least shares the intensity, of course, is the University of Michigan and Ohio State College football rivalry. So I know that's pretty serious. I used to work for the University of Michigan. And so people would say, when the big game would come up, who are you for? And I said, neither. I'm a Penn State alum. So I was able to get out of that one. Although some people gave me shit. They're like, yeah, but University of Michigan is paying you, so you should be for the University of Michigan. So, and then I had to say, well, look, I'm not a football fan. Doesn't matter. If they meet in baseball, although Ohio State always had the better baseball team, I'll root for Michigan. All right, Peckinpah, 0 for 1, flew out to deep right center last time up. Cy Young into the 1-2 pitch. Peckinpah sends this out to right field. Harry Hooper has to go back and grabs it on the track, so Peckinpah gave it a ride. Ray Caldwell, 0 for 1, and he lined right back to Cy Young his first time up. Caldwell sends this one. Bobby Dorr, absolutely full body extension, and somehow able to underhand the ball to Cy Young covering. Beautiful play. Oh, I'm sorry. That was Jimmy Fox. I'm sorry. I thought that was Bobby Dorr. So Jimmy Fox making the great play. I'm sorry, Double X. Miss saw that there. It looked like Dorr was going after the ball. All right, Red Rolfe, 1 for 2, single and a stolen base. Cy Young deals. Rolfe swings, tapper back to the mound. Cy Young off the bump and over to Jimmy Fox. That does it for the Yanks in the 5th. We go to the bottom of the 5th, 1-0. Bona fide pitcher's duel. Ray Caldwell versus Cy Young. Top of the order for the Scarlet Hose. And Tris Speaker is 0 for 2 in the game. Speaker's flown out and grounded back to the pitcher. The pitch, 0-1 pitch. Speaker sends this one deepish to center field, with Babe Ruth ranging to his left. Tracks it down for out number 1. Harry Hooper now kicking a little bit of infield dirt off his spike settles in the box. Harry, 0 for 2. He's popped a short fly to left center. All right, Dickey sets up the target for Ray Caldwell. Here's the pitch. Hooper swings at the first pitch. This one very high, but not deep enough. DiMaggio has it back there in that little weird triangle area. So 2 away for the Splendid Splinter. 2 singles in this game. The pitch, and this time Ted Williams on base with a walk. So Williams seeing the base paths, but not seeing home plate in terms of scoring. Jimmy Fox, on the other hand, 0 for 2 and has whiffed twice. Caldwell's got the beast's number thus far. 2-1 pitch. Fox is going to foul this one, third base side, giving chase is Red Rolf, but this one's going to make the seats. Yep, 15 rows back. All right, Fox back in the box is going to get another look here at Ray Caldwell, again, who is stymieing him. Count even, 2 balls, 2 strikes. Here's the pitch. Jimmy sends it out to left, and this is gone. Open all the windows, Aunt Minnie. Jimmy Fox, I talk about his explosive power, and he does it. 2-run homer and sends home Ted Williams right ahead of him. So the Red Sox now leading this one 3-zip. John's got to go. He's got to run some errands, have some games played. Yeah, so Cousin Kent and I are going to be playing Game 5 of the 1912 World Series. So hopefully you'll be around for that, John. And maybe if we can do some Strat Max. Take care, buddy. Drive safe, all right? Thanks, folks, for hanging out. For those of you got to go, you got to go. And it's all good. Just got to mention again, this new scoreboard and just the way the players look, everything just looks fantastic. DK Sports, you guys rock. Joe Cronin, 0 for 2. And see, so sometimes you go up there, it's going to do that. But that's okay. Here's the pitch to Cronin. And high fly ball to left. Ruth backpedals. Pulls it down. So the Boston Red Sox, 2 runs on a big Jimmy Fox home run. There were no errors. And we are now official, or about to be official, as we go to the top of the 6th. 3-0 Boston over New York. Bill Dickey, Babe Ruth, Lou Gehrig due up for the Bronx Bombers. Dickey 1 for 2 with a single. Cy Young brings it, 1-0 pitch, and Dickey laces this one. Hard liner into center field, and Tris Speaker, the ball rattling around there, but luckily with his strong arm, gets it in there, or Bill Dickey could have maybe had a triple, but you're not going to run on Speaker that way. All right, so the Yanks with a runner in scoring position. Babe Ruth, 0 for 2. So how cool is it to have these 3 great sluggers in this game? Let's add in Ted Williams. You got Ruth, Gehrig, Fox, and Williams all in the same game. Gotta love it. Anyhow, Babe Ruth has lined out to first and lined out to second. Young deals 0-1 pitch to Ruth, and this time he's going to ground, and Jimmy Fox will take it through unassisted on the plate. Bill Dickey will move to third, so 1 down. Cy Young have to work out of the stretch here to Lou Gehrig. Gehrig was hit by a pitch and popped to third. 0-2, fly ball center field, should be deep enough, so Bill Dickey's going to tag. The throw home's close, but Farrell unable to get the tag down as the throw goes up the line a little bit. By the time he's turned around, Bill Dickey in there standing. So Farrell, a game trying, a very strong throw by Tris Speaker. So the Yanks get on the board here in the top of the 6th inning. It's 3-1 Boston. Yankee Clipper, 0 for 2. He is grounded out twice. Are we seeing the chinks in the Cy Young armor? 1-1 pitch. DiMaggio lost this to left. Ted Williams has it. 4 out, number 3, but the New York Yankees pick up a run on 1 hit, no errors. This game is official. We go to the bottom of the 6th inning. Boston 3, New York 1. And we will have Rick Farrell, Bobby Doerr, and Jimmy Collins due up for the Red Sox. Rick Farrell's 1 for 1 and a walk. Caldwell brings it, count even, 2-2. Long fly ball to center field. DiMaggio has it. Out number 1. Bobby Doerr now. He has walked and flown out. Caldwell, 0-2 pitch. And Bobby Doerr ripping a miss. So that ball almost gets away to Bill Dickey, but holds on to it. And that's the 5th strikeout by Ray Caldwell today. So pitching a pretty good game. Yankees just limited thus far to 4 hits and 1 run. All right, Jimmy Collins, 1 for 2. RBI single back in the 2nd. that gave Boston its first run. Base is empty, 2 away here in the bottom of the 6th. The pitch, Jimmy Collins, fly ball, center field. Joe DiMaggio earning his paycheck today. Gave it a ride, but to no avail. No runs, no hits, no errors. 6 in the books here at the Fens. 3-1 Boston over the Yankees. All right, we have a 6, 7, 8 due up. Selkirk, Gordon, and Peckinpah. So George Selkirk, 1 for 3 in the game, or 1 for 2 in the game, I'm sorry. Grounded out his last time up. Cy Young winds and fires. Selkirk on the first pitch. Bobby Doerr ranged it to his right. Strong peg onto Jimmy Fox to retire Selkirk for out number 1. All right, brings up Flash Gordon. Flash, nothing for 2, struck out his last time up. Cy Young still bringing the fastball here. 2-2 pitch. And how about that? So big rip and miss by Joe Gordon. Cy Young mixed it up, dropping the hammer that time. Quickly 2 outs here for the Yankees in the top of the 7th inning. Brings up Roger Peckinpah now. Peckinpah's flown out to deep right center both times. All right, Young ready to go, has a sign he likes from Rick Farrell. 2-0 pitch. Peckinpah is going to have himself a ground ball base hit into right field. So Peckinpah gets his first hit of the game. All right, Ray Caldwell, nothing for 2. See if the Yankees decide to go to the bench with 2 down. Caldwell will hit for himself and base hit into left field. Peckinpah runs through the stop sign and he slides into third. Safe. Jimmy Collins with the tag with Peckinpah getting the hand in there in the head first slide. So the Yankees threatening with 2 down here in the 7th. Runners at the corners. Caldwell at first, Peckinpah at third. And here's Red Rolfe. We're back at the top of the order. Rolfe is 1 for 3. Cy Young out of the stretch. 0-1 pitch. Red Rolfe routine grounder to Bobby Doerr. And he'll take the short route to Jimmy Fox. And the Yankees are turned away. 7th inning stretch time here at Fenway Park. The Red Sox lead the Yankees 3-1. And we are back. So again, we are, as part of featuring freebies for Action PC Baseball. This is one of many. This is franchise best, 1901 to 1942. Freely available. Just got to go out there and look for it, guys. I did show a site that has a lot of these, the APC community. And then for some of the others, just got to look around. You'll find a lot of the other ones. Again, APC community and the Action PC Baseball forums. So check those out. Then we'll be doing a broadcast at some point in the near future on freebies available for Diamond Mine Baseball. So if you're a Diamond Minder, hang in there. We're going to be doing it for Diamond Mind as well. And there's a lot for that one too. All right, we got Cy Young, Tris Speaker, and Harry Hooper here in the bottom of the 7th inning. Red Sox lead the Yankees 3-1. Ray Caldwell winds and fires. 1-1 pitch, and Cy Young says, you know what? That's right. We 19th century pitchers can hit. And dead ball, of course. Cy Young's final year in baseball is 1911. So Cy Young gets a base hit. That's number 6 now. Red Sox and Yankees tied in base hits. But the Red Sox leading where it counts. Tris Speaker, a disappointing 0 for 3 right now. And Cy Young ain't going anywhere. Caldwell deals 1-1 pitch. And catcher interference on the play. So a big cut and a miss, but they're calling catcher interference. Bill Dickey gets the error, and Tris Speaker is on first. So not looking pretty right now. Ray Caldwell going off the mound for a minute, trying to collect himself there. Doesn't want to get angry at his catcher. All right, the Red Sox with 2 on, nobody out here in the bottom of the 7th inning. And it's Harry Hooper back at batting the number 2 slot. Hooper, nothing for 3. Great chance here for Hooper to contribute and give the Red Sox even more of a margin. These Yankees are dangerous. And, of course, the Yankees will allow Cy Young to get to third if they can turn 2 here. But Speaker, it's a lot of speed there at first. Here we go. 0-1 pitch and bunt by Harry Hooper. There we go. Caught the Yankees off guard. Beautiful sacrifice bunt by the number 2 hitter, Harry Hooper. Advances the runner. Cy Young just 90 feet away. Tris Speaker, as the crow flies, is 120 feet away from second, or away from home plate. And Ted Williams, 2 for 2 with a walk, strides to the plate. And the pitch. They're going to intentionally walk Williams to get to Jimmy Fox. Jimmy Fox last time a 2-run homer, but he has struck out twice against Ray Caldwell. So taking the chance against the Beast here as opposed to the Splendid Splinter, who is seeing Caldwell a little better. 3-0 pitch, and it doesn't matter for all the rabbiting. They just walk it a run. Cy Young will trot home, and the Boston Red Sox now lead this game 4-1. Bases still loaded for Joe Cronin, who's 0 for 3. So Tris Speaker at third, Ted Williams at second, and Jimmy Fox occupying first. Joe Cronin has flown out all 3 times. Boston doesn't mind if he would fly out here too to pick up run number 5. Caldwell deals. Cronin swings. Fly ball center field. DiMaggio has it. That's going to score Tris Speaker easily as DiMaggio hits the cutoff man. But in the meantime, Williams is at third base. So runners at the corners. Red Sox now lead the Yankees 5-1. All right. And Caldwell will now face Rick Farrell, who is 1 for 2. Caldwell right now is expected pitch count 145. He is at 113. He deals, and line drive base hit center field. Williams will score. Farrell picks up the RBI. Fox moves to third. Caldwell not due up for like 2 more innings yet, so I'm not sure what the Yanks are doing, but they're certainly not. They're not yanking Caldwell here, but he's getting shelled, man. He's getting shelled. And we are not the Yankees. I just want to remember I'm managing the Sox. Caldwell deals to Bobby Doerr. Bobby Doerr base hit into left. Ray Caldwell is now getting just slapped around and hung up ugly to dry. It's now 7-1. Jimmy Collins, though. Jimmy Collins has an RBI in this game. 2 down. Jimmy last time flew out to deep center field. Bill Dickey out to have a quick word with Ray Caldwell. Back behind the dish. 3-0 pitch. Ray Caldwell looking bad here. I could cheat and take over management of the Yankees, but let's just keep things where they are. Will Cy Young be allowed to bat for himself? So Caldwell, it's fallen apart for him now. At one time, he was at 5 strikeouts and 1 walk. Now he's at 5 strikeouts and 6 free passes. Bases sold out again. What a jam for Ray Caldwell. Here's the pitch. Young will bat for himself. This should end the inning. Selkirk has it near the wall. Ugly inning for the New York Yankees. A glorious one for the Boston Red Sox. 4 runs, 3 hits, 1 error. 7 down here in Fenway Park, and it's 7-1. Red Sox over the Yankees. Heart of the order coming up now for the Yanks. Bill Dickey, Babe Ruth, and Lou Gehrig. And if any one of them get on, and sparing any sort of other weirdness, Joe DiMaggio. Bill Dickey in the game is 2 for 3. Single and a double. Cy Young still looking strong here. His expected pitch count is 145. He's at 78. Young deals 1-0 pitch. Bill Dickey will open the 8th with a base hit to right. Going all the way to the wall. Hooper tracks it down. Dickey going for 3. The tag by Jimmy Collins. Triple for Bill Dickey. So now a little bit of life in that Yankee dugout as Babe Ruth strides to the plate. Ruth has not gotten the ball out of the infield in 3 trips. Cy Young from the stretch, 1-1 to Babe Ruth, and he's not going to get out of the infield here. Fox will take it to the bag unassisted, and Red Sox indifferent to the run that just comes in. No threat at all. So Bill Dickey will come in to score, 7-2 Red Sox. Here's Lou Gehrig. He is nothing for 2. RBI, sac fly, back in the 6th that scored Bill Dickey. Cy Young deals. Gehrig swings in the first pitch. Bobby Doerr, textbook, to Jimmy Fox. 2 down for Joe DiMaggio. Where have you gone, Joe DiMaggio? DiMaggio swings, grounder, Cronin ranging to his right at short, on to Jimmy Fox, and the Yanks pick up a run, and I don't know if you can say they inched closer, they millimetered closer. Boston Red Sox lead the New York Yankees 7-2 as we go to the bottom of the 8th inning. Top of the order, Tris Speaker, Harry Hooper, and Ted Williams. Caldwell still in there, surprisingly. Caldwell will be due up 4th for the Yankees when we go to the top of the 9th. Thank you, everybody, for hanging in today. And for those of you who'll be catching the broadcast later, if you have Action PC Baseball, get some of these freebies. If you don't have Action PC Baseball, get it. Phenomenal game. It's incredible. And then go get a ton of freebies. Get a few seasons from Dave Cook. Christopher Slovic says, okay, a really whacked out question. I know you love the dead ball era, but there's a sport that is just as old. Finnish baseball. Would I do a game of Finnish baseball? If I knew anything about it and could do it, sure. You have to educate me about Finnish baseball, Christopher. I have never heard of it. Never heard of it. I like anything that's old-timey. I even prefer the original Star Trek. Next Generation was cool, though, but Deep Space Nine, waste of time. Anyhow, I'd love to know what that is. And where would I find the players? All right. So last time up, catcher interference allowed Tris-Speaker to reach base, and that's the only time he's been on today. He's flown out twice and grounded out. Boston with a 5-run lead here. Caldwell deals, and big swing and a miss. And Tris-Speaker will strike out. Not an easy guy to strike out. Harry Hooper, nothing for 3, but great sacrifice bunt back in the 7th that helped contribute to the 4-run Boston onslaught. It was. Caldwell deals. Hooper clubs this one to center field, and DiMaggio leaps bang against the wall. Great play. Hooper gave it a ride. Excellent play there by Joltin' Joe. All right, Ted Williams, what a day is he having? So 2 for 2, walked and intentionally walked. Caldwell deals. Williams swings. Little chopper to third, and Red Rolf decides to eat up the ball rather than try to throw out Williams. So getting caught up in the grass there, and Rolf looked like he had a little misstep there. So Williams is aboard, and the last time Williams was aboard, Jimmy Fox went pow over the left center field wall, over the monster. 3 RBI today for Jimmy. Caldwell deals to the beast with 2 down. 0-2 pitch. Jimmy Fox strikes out. And we go to the top of the 9th inning. Last chance for the New York Yankees, but this is just an exhibition game to feature one of the many, many free leagues that you can get for Action PC Baseball. George Selkirk, Flash Gordon, and Roger Peckinpah due up. Selkirk 1 for 3, grounded out twice in a single in this game. Young delivers. Selkirk, bounder to Jimmy Collins. He sets, he fires. Jimmy Fox receives. 1 up, 1 down. Here's Joe Gordon now. Flash has whiffed twice in this game and flown out. 1-0 pitch. Doerr. Oh, and bad throw by Bobby Doerr. This one, Jimmy Fox able to keep it in front of him. But what happens now? We shall see. We shall see. So Bobby Doerr, throwing error, E4. Roger Peckinpah, 1 for 3. Cy Young deals with 1 out. Routine fly ball, center field. Trispeaker has it. Ball gets into Joe Cronin, and I don't think we're going to see Ray Caldwell bat. We will see the Kentucky Colonel, Earl Combs, come in to pitch at center fielder and Hall of Famer for the Murderers Row Yankees. The pitch to Combs, and this one's going to go all the way into the right field corner for extra bases. Joe Gordon should be able to score. Comes around third easily. Combs going for 3, and he is safe. RBI, triple off the bench for the Kentucky Colonel. And the Yankees draw a little bit closer. It's 7-3 now, Red Sox. As Red Rolf steps into the plate, he is 1 for 4 with a single. He's grounded out his other 3 times up. Let's do this. So Earl Combs just 90 feet away. Can the Yankees keep it going here? Top of the 9th, 2 down and down by 4 runs. Young deals from the stretch. 0-2 pitch, lined into left, base hit. RBI single for Red Rolf. Earl Combs will come in to score. It's now 7-4. Red Sox starting to feel a little bit of heat with this 2-out 9th inning rally being mounted by the Bronx Bombers. And here's Bill Dickey. 3 hits today. So a single, a double, a triple. I don't want to put this out in the universe, but could it happen? I've had only one player do this for me that I'm not putting out in the universe, and it's the guy playing first for the Boston Red Sox. All right, here we go. Cy Young peers in, has the sign from Rick Farrell. And the pitch. 2-2 pitch. Nope, not going to happen. Cronin to Fox. No, Bill Dickey is not going to get the cycle, but he gets the infield hit. So bad play on Joe Cronin. Bad throw there by Cronin. All right, so no, I can now say Jimmy Fox is the only one to ever have a cycle for me. And damn it, Bill Dickey, but that's all right. All right, Babe Ruth 0 for 4, and as I've said, he has not gotten the ball out of the infield, does have an RBI in the game. All right, Young versus Ruth here, top of the 9th. Yankees trying to mount a comeback. And the pitch. Ruth swings. This should be the ball game. Jimmy Fox takes it, and that is it. Despite a late inning attempt by the New York Yankees, the Boston Red Sox defeat the New York Yankees 7-4. We're going to have to award our own most valuable players as an exhibition game. So Cy Young gets the win. Ray Caldwell with the loss. Kind of surprised that the Yankees left Caldwell in there for as long as they did. He just got ripped up in the 7th inning. For the Yankees in a losing cause, Bill Dickey almost had the cycle 4 for 5 with a triple, and a double. And the Kentucky Colonel comes off the bench and gets an RBI, triple. For the Boston Red Sox, Rick Farrell went 2 for 3. Jimmy Fox 1 for 4, including 3 RBI in this game. And Ted Williams just on base all day, 3 for 3 and 2 walks, one of them intentional. So looking at the pitching really quickly, both pitchers, complete game for them. Ray Caldwell, 7 runs, 4 earns, including a home run, and that was the Jimmy Fox home run. He walked 6, struck out 7. Cy Young went 9, 4 runs, 2 were earned, and struck out 2. The line for the Boston Red Sox, 7 runs, 9 hits, 1 error. And for the New York Yankees, 4 runs, 10 hits, and 1 error. I am awarding most valuable player of the game to Jimmy Fox for the 3 RBI. And that's it. That's it, Fort Pitt, as they say. This is such a fun file, and I really encourage you, if you do have Action PC Baseball, and the basic game is cheap. Get it. Buy a season. They're always on sale. Pick up a bunch of these freebies and have a grand time. Until then, I want to thank everybody for coming in. We've gone a little bit long for me to thank everybody, but Christopher, thank you. John, Forrest, Ken Castro, Paul Fay. I'm going to try to get as many as at least I can remember here. Philip Reynolds. Thank you, Philip, for being with us today. Always appreciate it. Parallel League, thank you, buddy. Ump Man was here. Truth Hurts Wilkie. Cousin Ken Castro. Maybe I will get everybody here. What the hell? um, Michael Peterson was here asking about some dead ball baseball, which was always fun. It gets me off into tangents. So the first hour of this broadcast is really devoted to looking at rosters and some of the resources to get these things. Jack Dawson, brother Jack Dawson, first in the ballpark. So we did get everybody today. I don't know what anybody else is doing. I'll be back later. I am coming back on tonight, Forest, as Ken Castro and I will be playing Game 5 of the 1912 World Series on Apago. My New York Giants and his Boston Red Sox are tied at 2 games each. So thank you, and to all those who are absent, hopefully we'll see you back on here again soon. And to all those catching it later, thanks for hanging out and being part of this awesome, awesome family that we have. So until this evening, we'll see you around the batting cage, everybody.